What's going on, guys? This is another episode of DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. But guess what? We're on Spotify, TikTok, and X, and also YouTube. If you do not know, we are on episode 14. I think we're on 14. But hey, it's been a long week, guys. How's everyone doing? We're going to get right into it, guys. So I'm hoping you're ready for the greatest show that's on earth. And that's no, we're not the circus. We are DWE Radio. Welcome, everyone. Great to see you guys. We had a great WrestleMania night 1, but we'll get deep into the deep dive of night 1, night 2, special Raw. I have quite a few ideas about some thoughts about what I thought about Raw, what happened on Raw, what was going on with the. I think the different changes of what they did with Raw. Definitely going to get into some talks about that. We're going to get into some talks about some comments that was made by someone. Have we, as wrestling fans, does wrestling has a age limit on it? I think that's something that me and Final Boss will discuss about some topics that was brought up that she seen that she heard busted open really brought to the table too because a person made a comment about um, there someone at a certain age should stop watching wrestling, and we'll dig deep into that. We're going to get into some stuff about Oba. Oba did win the big one this weekend, so we'll definitely talk about his promo on Monday. What does it mean? What's next for Oba Femi? Ethan Page makes his debut on Raw. Cody and Punk seems like that was suggested on Monday. We'll deep dive into that. So Ruka makes her debut on Raw. I think I will touch on the Ethan Page and the Soul Ruka thing. I'll definitely get in touch on that. Get on those two topics of things. Brock Lesnar maybe retiring. We seen on WrestleMania. If you did hear us, you did get our initial reaction of the watch along on this Sunday about Brock taking off his gloves, taking off his shoes. You'll definitely hear our thoughts about that. The Street Profits returned on Raw. Looks like they're joining with Seth Rollins. You'll definitely hear us give our thoughts about that. And like I said, I think the biggest thing that we'll talk about is the Jacob Fatu challenging Roman Reigns for the heavyweight title. Seems like that will be the Tribal Chief's first initial opponent for Backlash. It's been quite some time since we've seen Roman Reigns compete at Backlash. I have to go and look and see when the last time he actually competed at Backlash is probably quite some time. And also, I want to talk about the Paul Heyman still owing Gunther a favor. Every time I think about it, I think about the CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns favor. And we all know how that ended. Um, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman ended up with Seth Rollins. So we'll definitely get into talks about that um, here today. Like I say, if you're new here, welcome. Thanks for being here, everyone. Let me get this set up. I'm trying to get our little strolly thing at the bottom for you guys down here. Let me see, can I get that for you guys? So you guys can know where to follow us and look us up at if you do want to follow us. There we go. Um, so please, if you are live with here us today, or you go back and listen to this on Spotify, we're on Spotify. We all got every episode on Spotify right now. So you guys can go check that out on Spotify. We got it all the way from episode 1 through 13. I'm pretty sure we're probably on 14 right now. No, we actually on 16. Look at that. I had to look at it. So we actually got up to all the way from 1 through 15 on Spotify. If you guys want to go back and listen to the beginning, go to Spotify. That's DWE Radio on Spotify. If you want to just start watching half of the episodes, we got half of the episodes on YouTube. YouTube, that's Talking Up Podcast on YouTube. And all the episodes are on DWE replay page. If you wanted to just go on X, we have every link. You can go back and watch it. If you just want to go watch it back on X, there's all available for you on the DWE replay page. So if you guys want to go check that out on X, there's available for you on X. It's available for you on Spotify, and it's definitely available for you on YouTube. Go follow us on Twitch. We're live right now on Twitch. Shouts out to everyone who's following us on Twitch. We was live on Twitch for the watch party. That's DWE Radio on Twitch. If you want to go and check us out on Twitch, we're live on Twitch right now. And like I said, we're live on YouTube, so you want to check us out on YouTube. Got a lot of shorts. It will be a triple header tonight. After DWE Radio, you can come back and if you want to catch me, I will be doing a live reaction to the draft, the NFL draft. So, guys, know Inside the Mind is still going, but it will be at 8 o'clock tonight. Also, we'll probably do it earlier tomorrow. I'll go on live at 6 because SmackDown comes on. So, it will be at 6 o'clock Friday. And we'll probably do another late night one on Saturday since there's no DWE radio. I will probably be the only one going live on Saturday. We got quite a few shows rolling out for today, tomorrow, and I will be live Saturday. And like I said, we have a show on Sunday. So Friday, today you will get us if you're here with us now. Then later on, like I say, you will get my Inside of Mind. That will be like maybe for an hour or two where you can hear me just give you all my thoughts as we watch the NFL draft. And then later on, the late night, our very own nightcap. No point intended. Shouts out to Nightcap for giving us all the love from this past WrestleMania weekend. We definitely enjoyed that with you guys. Never know, something might be coming down the pipeline with that. So hey, you gotta just stick around. As long as you guys keep supporting us, I think a lot of more people will keep noticing DWE Radio. So shouts out to everyone who does support us with that. But like I say, later on night, the nightcap will be EVP will be doing the recap of TNA. So if you want to come back and hear everything that has happened on TNA, if you can watch it, join CJ for the recap of TNA. And then tomorrow you will get after Sammy would do a interview early. I think it's around 1 o'clock p.m. if I'm not mistaken. And then later on in the afternoon around 6 o'clock time from 8 o'clock to before SmackDown comes on, you get to hear my thoughts about the next draft day of Friday, and you will get my other thoughts about what happened on today, for what happened yesterday, and I'll talk about that tomorrow. And later on that night, you will get the Friday night recaps from CJ. Then Saturday, you will just get me. I will come on around probably 6 o'clock, probably go 6 to 8 to get the last final NFL draft out the way, guys, because we're back on the NFL and the NFL is back. We'll be definitely talking about camp, all those things. So NFL Inside the Mind. NFL will be with Miami will be back to his regular schedule. I took 2 days off because we had the WrestleMania week. We had this week, the NBA. Now it seems like the NFL is picking back up. I just took 2 days off because I wanted to get you guys a little rest, and we'll be back every Tuesday and Thursday until the season starts, and then you can catch me on Thursdays for the my Inside the Mind NFL of Miami on the Thursday before the Thursday game start. As long as it's not a morning game, and you can catch me and CJ on the NFL recaps for the season. That will be quite some fun. We're already back for season 2, so that's crazy that we're already back that quick. for that um, NFL season. But like I was saying, guys, just thanks you guys for all the people who did tune in with us, the 600 and people who did view us on both pages. Great numbers. It'll probably something we'll do back, especially with the announcement of Cena saying that he might be doing something for Backlash. I don't know for the initial PLE or what. That was something we did see. He did make a post. Very strange that he did say that. Don't know if he'll be making appearances at Backlash. I think it'll be something probably like an announcement that he maybe has a movie coming out or something coming out. I don't know if he'll be doing something exactly for WWE, but that will be really interesting to see if he is. It did seem like over the weekend that John Cena really he got teary eyed. You can hear our thoughts about that on the live that we said. It seems like he really did miss it. He was very emotional throughout the night of both nights, and he showed up both nights and did a great job. Had a segment with Dan Housey, and it seems like John Cena will be doing something for Backlash. I don't, like I say, I don't know exactly if it will be something exactly for the PLE exactly, but it's very interesting to see what we're gonna do. It seems like we already got one match already set up. Like I say, we'll definitely talk about the Roman and Jacob once my co-host gets into the studio today. Um, I guess I will start off with the NXT stuff because Final Boss doesn't know too much about the NXT stars. So let's go ahead and get into the first topic. Ethan Page made his appearance on Raw. Um, I like Ethan Page. I did watch some of his stuff on the NXT. I love when he did the segment with him. Ava, God, I miss Ava as being the general manager of NXT. But I love the segment between him, Rock, and Ava when Rock was telling Ethan Page that always remember that Ava is the final boss of NXT and stuff, and just doing that segment with me, I thought that was kind of like some seeds that were going to get planted later on down the line. But things happen. Maybe they was, maybe they wasn't. We don't know. It just was something that I really thought that could happen later on down the line. Um, I really thought Ethan Page was going to go to maybe a SmackDown when I started seeing him because I was like, okay, maybe he'll when he first starts appearing, he'll probably appear on SmackDown. But no, he's actually on Raw, and he fits right in right away. They put him in a match with Javon Evans. You see Rusa come out, interfere. It seems like you had Penta. It seems like Ethan Page he did come out and say that he wants to go for the IC title, and that's good. You give this IC title some type of prestige. I love Penta going to AA defending his title. That does bring some kind of prestige to it. I was shocked that they kept it on Penta. I had Javon winning it. Um, I think down the line, Javon has to win a title. If they're going to do this between Ethan Page, Penta, and I was about to say Gunther, Rusev, and Javon, I wouldn't mind them pulling the trigger on Javon at Backlash because if you don't pull it on Javon at Backlash, when are you going to pull it? I think once you do that, you can kind of probably set up a couple matches between him and Ethan Page, maybe, because there is some NXT story there for them for people who did watch NXT. I think right after that you can follow up with the him and Ethan Page. I would not be surprised somewhere down the line. I don't know how long this Vision thing is gonna go. We're definitely gonna talk about the Vision. I'm gonna definitely touch on the Vision stuff, especially Braun Breaker's promo with when he came out saying what he said to Seth Rollins. I wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Page being a part of um, the Vision. I think he'll be great with Paul Heyman. I think he gives me that Paul Heyman type of vibe. If anyone doesn't know, Ethan Page did come from AEW, and it seems like he's made his own as he came to WWE. He did, like I say, he did great on NXT. I love him and Ricky Saints being together. They make a great duo. Um, I guess Ricky Saints is staying down in NXT because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I did see him having a match next week on Raw with someone. I mean, not on Raw, but NXT with someone. So I guess Ethan Page is staying down in NXT just a little bit longer. Maybe they'll go back to the format of when they used to bring people up after Mania, and then they'll start bringing people up after SummerSlam again. That's something that they definitely need to do, especially with what happened last year with all the injuries. I think that will be definitely something I would think they should do here in the future. But Ethan Page, I can see him doing a lot of matches down the line. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to see an Ethan Page and Roman match. If Roman, it depends on how long Roman keeps his title. If he's going for definitely a long reign, I would love to see Roman and Ethan go head to head. There's a lot of matches Roman can do. I think you got to set up a lot of new people, and they came out right out the gate with Roman. But we're going to touch on Roman here real soon as we get along the show. But like I said, Ethan Page did do well. Like always, he said, I know there was some videos of him saying that Shawn was really fond of him, showed him a lot of stuff. Even Shawn Michaels came out and said, he kind of reminds him of of a young Shawn Michaels, which is very, very accomplishment if you ask me. Because Shawn was Mr. WrestleMania. He has had those great matches and has had some memorable moments, if believe it or not. I think Shawn was a big star back in the day, especially being the Heartbreak Kid. Everyone still loves the way he comes out and does the little stretch and the fireworks and stuff. I mean, that's always going to be remembered from Shawn Michaels. So Ethan Page is going to be great. Like I say, I think once you set this up for Ethan, doing something with him in the IC championship, I think that gives this title someone new, someone fresh. I did notice that on Raw, they seem like they're taking the young and trying to replace the new, and I don't have a problem with that because I think us as the IWC fans have been asking for that for the last couple of years. Even when the bloodline stuff was going on, I think we was asking like, "Hey, can we get some new people?" Even when we didn't have those new people to be involved in segments or matches, I think that was something they were scrambling for here soon. And so I think with you starting off with the Ethan Page, that's one thing you could do there. Let's go to the Soul Ruku. Um, her debuting another NXT call up. I love her Snow Saster. I just found I knew she's I think she's part Samoan and she's something else too. I think she's from Hawaii if I'm not mistaken, but I know she's Samoan and she has something else mixed in with her. So that was pretty cool that I learned that, and I learned that when she was on back on NXT. That's why she loves doing the surfing and all the stuff. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So she added that to her gimmick. Um, I did see the spot she took he has landed on her neck a couple times, and I'm more worried about protecting the wrestlers. People like EO, spots like what Soul took. I think those spots have to be. I know everyone wants those. I think it's the wow factor, and I think that's something that WWE needs to just go into the whole spot training, or having a spot set up where it can be safely. I think that's the one thing that we have to called WWE out for, and I was the first to say it. I tagged Triple H, I tagged TKO, I even tagged W. And I was like, hey, could we get EO to stop doing this spot, man? Because I'm worried. I'm a fan, yes, and even if I don't like a wrestler, or I do like a wrestler, if it's a spot that I'm like, man, hey, can we get this person to stop? Especially we've lost so many wrestlers over neck injuries. Think about it. Edge, Daniel Bryan. Thank God, Paige here came back and she did an interview where she was saying that when she came back she had to be cleared by the doctors, and you can go see that on the Stephanie McMahon's podcast, and stuff, where the spot that she did that, kind of took her out for a while and she came back. But even her saying she came back, she was saying that, she was a little worried about passing the physical because everyone knows that WWE physical not, they just don't let you, slide by. And I think about those people like that. Hey, you got Piper Niven. Look at Big E. People like that. That even KO, and he's going to be on LLG. We haven't found out could he come back. We know Big E is done, and he can't come back. So he's kind of like um, sort of done. So it's wrestlers like that that I think about, and I say, when I see a spot like that from Soul, because it was like in the head, neck, in area, or even EO, I say, man, could there have been a safer way to do this spot? Could have been a safer way to either just say, could we go something different, or either tell the wrestler, especially with EO, to let's try to do another move. Maybe go to the top rope and jump on someone, across body, something like that. Because she's supposed to be the genius of the sky. I'm not saying take her high flying away from her. Passionate. There are many videos of her doing the spot, and the way she lands on her neck. I'm like, oh my god, this is. I could just imagine if it's not, it's going to catch up with her later. So hopefully they catch that and they can say, hey, let's go something different. Let's do something different. Um, let's do something else. Um, make her go over the top rope. I know she's so small. I think that's the reason why they let her go through the ropes, and they think, well, maybe she can make it. Maybe that's the case. I don't know what's the initial thinking there, but it's just that little key thing that has me so worried about EO when it comes to EO Sky. We got a comment here, Ethan, from Stampede. Shouts out to you, Stampede. Thanks for coming by. It says Ethan Page is 36 and 19 years vet. So, hey, I did not know that. Appreciate that. Yeah. So he's 36. Oh, that's not too old. Usually, and me and Final Boss, we was talking about this off air, and we was talking about this earlier today when we was getting the card together and saying what we was going to do, basically the rundown. Shouts out to Greg. He does the rundown. If you guys don't know, come out to his show every 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he goes out and he comes out and he does the rundown of the card. Shouts out to the um um nerd. I'm about to say nerd, but yeah, nerd. Shouts out to you. He's saying red, finger red. Shouts out to you, man. Thanks, y'all guys, for coming by. But yeah, but I like I say, he thinks he got potential. I love him. He doesn't look 36, so man, shouts out to him. Looks really great to be 36 years old, Stampede. So thanks for telling me that. I didn't know he was 36. And me and Fighter Boss was saying this, and y'all guys can chime in if you want to. Um, and if you guys do want to do a call in, you can go and the links are both all pinned. I know you can see the video, but you have to. I think you have to show more. The link of the stream yard is here. We would love to have you on air. If you want to hear yourself on air and give your thoughts about WrestleMania. Do you think there's a change with the? Did we hit the restart button on Raw? Because I feel like we did. I feel like we did, and I'm going to link. It will be on the Talk It Up page or my page. And like I say, my page is Miami the Great 305, and the Talk It Up page is Talk It Up Podcast. It will be pinned right there, guys. And you guys, if you want to come in and give us your thoughts on DW Radio, I would love to hear you guys today. Just yeah, give us your thoughts. Nerd has another one here. He said, "We are the ones who's yeah. We're gonna definitely talk about some bloodline stuff. It was a lot of stuff going on. Just that bloodline stuff. I love the way Liv and the Liv and Stephanie Vicur stuff kind of broke out a little bit. I love that Liv is trying to take that step up of being the leader of her team. So I do like that from Liv Morgan. Um, Liv still has the bruises on that. I know a lot of people saying that her match and Stephanie Valkyrie match was the very shortest match of the whole night one and night two put together. It didn't matter. Which I don't know what was it? Was she injured? Was did they not want to do the match for too long? Was there going to be probably a mixed communication there because the language barrier? I do not know. It seems like they're going to run it back or propagate it at Backlash, and I think we'll see what will actually be the thing that we got from what could have been. Cause I really feel like watching Soul, and we just got off of Soul. Soul Ruku and Liv are great together. They have this chemistry to jet, and this is just me, guys. Like I say, everyone can chime in, and I'll put it up here. But and if you want to call, you call in. But I really feel like um that they chemistry together was good to me, and that's just me. Maybe it's just me. And like I say, the whole thing of Live and Soul was perfect. I did like it, and it did put Soul into a big spot because she was taking on the women's champion of Raw, her first debut. I think the last time we got that, I did say something about Paige was something like Paige, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Paige came up and did the whole thing with AJ Lee. She actually won. Never forget that moment. That was back when they had the Divas Butterfly Championship, which was something else Paige did talk about on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. There's so many titles now for the Bellas, Paige, people who wasn't around when they had these titles. I'm so glad. And this is why I probably was maybe one of the main ones that campaigned not getting rid of the women's tag titles. And I'm kind of glad. And I love what Becky's doing with the IC title. I love what AJ Lee did with the title. I know they was going back and forth, and they did make it feel big. I just don't know what's next for Becky as we go into this new her being the IC champion. I would love to see her and Maxine again, but I think you need to add one more person there. By Soul being there, I would love to see Soul take it off of Becky. I think that would be really nice. I think that will be something that I think a lot of fans can get behind. Give it a Soul and let Soul go for a crazy run of it. A crazy run of it. Of it. But let me get to some comments. We got another comment from Stampede. Shouts out to you. Like I say, thanks Stampede for commenting. He said Monday Night Raw dynamic was 159 minutes. Um, in total, matches was 39.5. I guess that's like minutes of programming. So it's like he said it's like 25% of wrestling content from your for your enjoyment. I You know what? It didn't seem like it though, and it was so much of they. And I know we got the commercials because it's on Netflix. I'll never understand the commercial aspect of it because I say, well, hey, if you want to take the commercials out and fill them in with promos, I think that will be a great idea. Because what Raw is what 2 hours and 30 minutes. We don't do the end credits, but we don't do like okay, we think something at the end, which I do like. They have kind of slowed down on that. I think you want to start doing that for big moments where you don't where you won't least expect it. Like hey, say for instance, one day Roman's out there and they are doing a promo and it goes off and you hit a rock music hit and the rock comes out. I think that will be the most excitement of that Raw. That's when you do it. Just don't have them do it something there, or you do John Cena. John Cena comes out and maybe John wants to manage someone. Something like that. Give us those subtle cliffhangers where you want to give us something, but you don't. You give us just enough to have us wanting more for next week. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I can't wait till next week Raw. One of the best Raws for me, and that's just in my perspective, guys. I feel like it was really great. We did do a turnaround because trust me, I was going to definitely come on here if it was going to be bad. Not just Raw, WrestleMania, which, like I say, night one was not my best, but night one and night two was going to be bad. I was going to be like, man, look, it's just time for them to just do something. But hey, at least they did take one of my initial comments with that I did say last week that and Final Boss had asked me what could they do, and I said, well, the best thing they could do is hit the reset button. And I said, what? And she asked me what would the reset button look like, and I was like, I don't know. And I didn't know the answer to that question because I was just like, let's let's do a just restart it all and just start off fresh, and I think that's something that they did do. So hey, yeah, it was that short, but it didn't seem like it. I feel like it was from an entertainment value because I'm speaking as a WWE fan, and I know if I was watching AEW and it was like that, I was like, okay, no, this is not right because I know AEW is more like match wise based. So if I was watching, I'd say, okay, what's going on? But for WWE to have it like how they had it and set it up the way they set it up, it was great for me. It felt really they got enough in there. It didn't feel rushed to me. It felt like we was off to a fresh start, which we both feel like. I don't think we got that in quite some time when it comes to um, WWE. And me and Final Boss was talking about it. I think a couple episodes ago, where we was like, it's been a while since we got a Raw out the main where it felt like, oh man, we can't wait the next week. Um, I think even when sometimes the bloodline stuff was going on, because we already knew, okay, it was going to be probably something with Cody and Roman because they had those back and forth so many much. I think that fatigue stepped in with us on Raw. Let's get to some more comments. Like I say, thank you, Stampede, for that. Let's go to Greg. Greg said it was an injury going into WrestleMania, so I guess he's saying that that's maybe one of the reasons why the match was so short there. But it's crazy if it was because she had a match on Monday. So I'm wondering, was Stephanie injured or was Liv injured? Because Liv had one a great match between her and Soul. Her and Soul, like I say, had a decent match to me. Um, and I think that match was just to establish Soul to let us know that hey, she's ready for the big time. And I did hear her comments about her having it. She wants to have a match with Randy Orton, which is crazy. The Soul Snatcher versus the RKO. And hey, so Randy Orton does not care about RKO and women. We have seen him done it plenty of times. Stephanie McMahon, the now Hall of Famer, we have seen him do it to um, Nia Jax, which was a crazy spot in Royal Rumble. I think one of the most memorable spots in the Royal Rumble. Because, man, when he hit it on her, I was like, God. And he has hit it on a lot of different women in the past. So I don't think Randy has no problem hitting that RKO. Um, 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 Neo says that he wants a match between Becky, Soul, and Bailey. Um, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, so I if this match was even for Backlash, um, I wouldn't put it on Soul right away because Becky just back won it. Um, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I'll still have it where Soul can still showcase her moves and her dynamic. I think that's something that we would love to see from Soul. Um, like I said, I like her. I like Soul. I wouldn't just put the title on her right away. I will wait to probably summer, maybe, or because I know we got Night of Champions coming up. They did announce that today. We still have main event. Will they change the main event? Maybe because we have seen sometimes they will probably maybe change one title, or sometimes they don't change the title on main event. Um, and then right after that, you have Clash of Italy. Now, would they want to, if they did it at Backlash and Turnaround and they sold them and Becky in Italy, would they take it off of her? Would I be upset? No. I think Neo, I think that will be great for her if you ask me for if they wanted to showcase her on that. Um, Greg said here, he said, "Give me Roxanne and Becky." You know what? It will be a great callback because remember they did do that. They did almost start a feud, but they kind of dropped it there a little bit. Greg, great callback. I don't think a lot of people remember the Roxanne and Becky little feud they was having. They started because they ended it so quick. Um, I know Roxanne's been in the WWE for 4 years. Um, so I think it's time for her to start, showcasing her. This is another person that you got to start pushing because one thing I can say about WWE, they did do well, is they did well with Oba, they did well with Javon, and they did well with Trick Williams. I cannot remember someone coming from NST and getting these pushes like these um, young men. I can't think of that. Now, Lash, yes, because she was attached to Nia Jax, which I mean, hey, her and Nia looked great together. They had the Demolition um, gear on. They, as you didn't see, they took a picture with Demolition, the tag team, and they came out. They was playing homage to them. I did like that. Great call for them. Whoever came up with that idea, that's great. Especially because I think they, you remember the longest reigning tag team was them, and then you had the New Day break it, then the Usos broke it. So I think that had a great call. I think that'd be great. I'm not gonna lie, Greg. If they did Roxanne and Becky, I would put the title on Roxanne. I think she needs it. I think she needs that push. She needs to go to that next level. Not saying Judgment Day has been holding her back. I just think things that can kind of establish a group where you can kind of get everyone started and see where we go next, um, as a group, and see where we go. Um, There said that Soul will win at SummerSlam if they did Soul and Becky. Yeah, that would be. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they did it. If they put it on her, she's like I say, she's a great athlete. I think she will do great with the title. We seen what she did in NXT once she. I'm pretty sure she will be champion. If they did do that with her. Um, it's just I don't want to push her too quick because sometimes you have your fans with like, oh my god, you get the I would start calling it the fan fatigue because that's what it is. I mean, we all get it. We can't say we all are fault of it. Like, oh my god, it happened to Becky, it happened to Charlotte, it happened to a lot of superstars. So I think that's something that you definitely, I think we have to be a little careful of, if you ask me. But we'll have to see. He said, let's see. He said, "So Ruku Titans gives me summer vibe." Yeah, that's why I said. Yeah, that's why I said. Probably put on her summer. I wouldn't mind her winning it at SummerSlam because it matches her vibe. If they want to wait that, you kind of build her up through this main roster run. You can give her a shot at it because look, she already they put her with Liv, and like I said, Liv is the women's champion for Raw. So already they have some kind of faith in her. And I do like this what they're doing with the NXT stars now. It doesn't make NXT feel secondary no more. Now they're calling them up and they're immediately, hey, let's get these people into some kind of spot because this is your future. And I think that's the great direction they went. I guess a light bulb went off on them where it was like, okay, we struck gold with Trick Williams, we struck gold with Javon, we struck gold with Oba, and even Lash. I will put Lash on there. I mean, Lash had a great performance at the Royal Rumble. So let's not forget about that, man. And she eliminated a lot of great competitors. And that right there showed me that yeah, they're really high on Lash too. Soon. So once she goes by herself, don't shadow of a doubt, you better be on the lookout for her. I thought that she was going to be the one to take it off of Jade. I would not be surprised if Lash takes the title off of Rhea. Because it looks like Bianca's going to be out for quite some time. Y'all did see our reaction of what we thought about Bianca being pregnant for WrestleMania. It's quite a shock to me. I had her down for one of my picks of coming, which got voided, and still came out winning the title because I had more. Thank God I had more picks right than anything. But hey, CJ was still our first champion for DWE. So on to Backlash where to do it again. So it's just a fun thing we do for DWE guys. So if you guys want to stop by and come at the watch party and see who's the Stales champion or Nate's champion, you guys can see in there and join us in there if you guys want to see that. But let's get on to the next thing. I think we'll talk about. I think the Brock Lesnar whole thing that happened this weekend is maybe something that has been brewing really big. Has Brock Lesnar really retired? We seen in the on Sunday, he taking off his boots and putting up his gloves. He throwed up the X, which a lot of people didn't understand, which I didn't understand too. I just thought it was just he was um, just Xing the X. But to come to find out, he was throwing up the X because he was initiating Paul Heyman that, hey, it's not scripted, it's real. So that was the statement to Paul to let him know that, hey, this is real. And as you can see, from what I'm understanding, Paul didn't know. Paul didn't know until it actually happened. Seemed like to me a lot of people didn't know until it happened. From what I'm understanding, they're saying that um, Brock did seem like he did agree to want to face Gunther um, for SummerSlam, but I guess Brock felt different. I wouldn't mind this being the last, hoorah for Brock, because I feel like that's what WrestleMania moments, memories are supposed to be about. So why not? If this is his final curtain call, and why not to Oba? I feel like Oba has got this aura where he's doing great. I think what they felt on Gunther, they didn't give him no guys like how they did for Oba. And I think that's what they felt in that. They're going to have to start doing that for Gunther, turning it around for Gunther. Even if you give Gunther Brock Lesnar, you're going to have to give Gunther like these big guys. Like, even if you want to give him Otis, even though he's been on there on TV for a while, give him Otis. Give him someone that can, match where we know he does a chop, they shrub it off. Um, I know Dragonoff is on SmackDown, and I know you don't hear quite much about Dragonoff and Gunther maybe facing each other. We did get a lot of hype when Gunther was champion. We wanted to see that fight, but I I feel like Gunther just fell along the wayside, and I'm just wondering, was this Brock's thinking, or did he want to make this call where he was thinking to himself, well, hey, I'm um I'm just really thinking that, hey, this is the best person to drop, my retirement to, or what? Like I say, we'll have to see. Like I say, you're getting different reports saying that he's not retired. He is retired, but and also you got the Paul Heyman promo, which Paul was really like teary eyed, and you could tell that it was not scripted. He was like, "Hey," because they still have Brock even on Tuesday. Because if you've been watching his team, they had him on the then and Paul said, "Could you move Brock Lesnar to the forever? Because that's where he belongs." Because if you know, I think who's all in the forever is Bray, Rock, and I think Bray and Rock, if I'm not mistaken. I think it may be one more person. I might could be forgetting that's in the forever part. That's in there. And I do agree with Paul. Yeah, move him if he is done. Move him to the forever part because Brock is a part, even though he has his past history with the things that he's had. Yeah, move him with the forever part of the intro if he wants to do that. But yeah, I feel like if this is Brock's last time, why not? You dropped it to Oba. Oba came out, and I'm definitely going to talk about Oba Femi here in a minute about his promo that did remind us about a promo that we got from a lot of people here that reminded us of someone. We'll definitely talk about that. But and you see the video. They even showed the video on Monday of Brock's career. Of the things he did. You've seen all these videos of fans making the videos of his career and things like that. And I was like, man, if he's gone, what better way? Man, we got John Cena Well, we had Goldberg, John Cena, and AJ Styles, and now Brock Lesnar. Man, it's like wow. Yeah, you got to start building some new stars because the vets are going their way out, and it seems like a lot of guys are retiring way earlier than they was back in the day, which and that's a good thing because we see how our Hall of Famers and vets, and the walkers are and the scooters and stuff, and I just feel so sorry for them because they had to put their bodies on the line to pave the way for the young stars to get this time to retire early, so they won't have to be that way. So, shouts out to all the Hall of Famers and vet wrestlers that did pave the way, man. I don't think they get enough respect and kudos for that on that. Let's see what Neil said. He said, what did he say? He said, Gunther versus El Grande. Book it now. Oh, Lord, maybe we'll get Luther Kaiser back soon in the feud. Oh, my goodness, no. You know what, though? I think Kaiser has took on, I think he needs to keep the mantle more than Chad. It was working for Chad, but I think Kaiser has nailed it. They love him down there at AA. He's hitting it, he's knocking it out the box with the whole thing, and he's doing great with it. I think you put Chad, you just do this mass thing and put Chad back. Chad has got the muscles, got the look. I wouldn't mind seeing another Gunther and Chad, a Gable match. Him regular because he's got the muscles now. I think those two, they both have that wrestling um technique style that you could do that with those two guys. Um, could be a pretty good match, especially the way Chad Gable's looking right now. Uh, he said, "Well, we need Luther Kaiser versus El Grande." Oh Lord. Well, hey, we getting that now. It's just one got the mask on and both of them saying they original and one of them saying they ain't. So who knows what they doing with that? But yeah, I would love to see what's next for not Gunther, Brock Lesnar. Is he going? Is he not? If you don't know that SummerSlam is in his home state, um, I think I guess Brock was thinking that, and they went. And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, I did see something about they went lower on the ticket sales already for SummerSlam. I used to travel to Minnesota a lot. Around that time, it does get a little chilly. Um, it's not so much to do up there around that time. Really, if it's not, it's great in the summer though. It's great summertime. Summertime is pretty good. They have like a month or two of summer. Not even probably 2 months. Sometimes they only have 1 month of summer because that's how cold it is up there. It doesn't get hot too often up there. So I think that was the thought process as we went into the Brock Lesnar retirement, and I just I was just shocked. I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my top like shock moments because I didn't see that coming. I thought, okay, Brock was gonna lose, and it was just gonna put her over FEMI. We're on, Brock's gonna be, wrote off for a while, and Gunther's gonna take on him, and I'm gonna roll into that now of why I thought that because let's talk about it. We says Paul Heyman owes Gunther a favor, and the reason why I say that is because you have like I said with the whole Brock and Gunther thing. That's what I thought they was gonna lead that to, but now they have inserted Jacob, which I think the reason why they did that because they didn't want to do Gunther right away because they don't know what's going on with maybe Brock, which, like I say, is a good thing for Jacob because I know how Jacob can get when it gets to promos, and like I said, we will talk about Jacob and Roman here in a minute. But I think this whole thing with Paul owing Gunther a favor, I that Gunther was going to, Brock was going to lose. Brock was going to go into the whole initiative of, telling Paul that one of his, you know, favors of saving him is he would like to have a match with Brock. But like I say, with the whole thing that went on down with Brock, they might pivot and change it into where Gunther tells Paul to try to get him a title match, which I mean, hey, that probably will be the best way because that's what I would do if I was them. That's probably the best way to go about it. We know that Gunther and Roman was the last two people to be in the Rumble, and Gunther got eliminated by Roman. So there's your story there. You kind of set up the story already for yourself, WWE, if you want to do it. But it depends on what they want to do and the way they want to go with it. I think that's definitely something that they can look into, and even if they don't seem like they pivot, and then I know it'll come out that we'll say, hey, they pivot, which we'll see it clear as day. Is that's the if that's the direction they want to go, they can go that way. I wouldn't mind seeing that if they wanted to go that way. I just don't. And even Paul, when he was in there with the Vision before he brought Breaker out, brought Breaker out in the Division. I think I think the thing is that with Brock and Gunther, if they do this match and make it official, they're gonna have to really build back Gunther like good, cause he's gonna have to get a old family type of I would say Edge type of overrun with him, and I think that's where people are kind of moving away from him. And like I say, I think that's mostly their fault when it comes to that, because they did that when it came to Gunther being with not being with the right opponent. I think that's where they messed up at to with Gunther. So you know we got to see what's going to go on with how they're going to set this up. I say just do a title match, Roman versus Gunther, and get it over with. Just hey, there goes your favor. You don't have to worry about worrying about at least he kind of goes where there's no service or nothing like that. So something that they they can do if they want to do it, and won't have to worry about. Okay, we don't have to make a match between Gunther and Brock. So and that's your story. You'll get the favor out of the way. You won't have to worry about Paul Heyman because he said he didn't join the Vision. So that's out the door, which I kind of figured that was the case too, that he didn't join the Vision. But so you already got the setup already there. It's up to them to counter on it and make it something of it. So I think that's where they have to kind of make this something where we could go to next. But let's speaking of that, we'll speak about the Street Profits. The Street Profits here. Let me get this up. I don't know why it's not coming up. Okay, why you're not coming up stream? You all right? Well, why I work on this, trying to get the Street Profit thingy up. There you go. The Street Profits did return. We found out, if anyone doesn't know, Montez Ford, the husband of Bianca, Bianca did announce that she was pregnant, and she looks like I know she's like 6 months, so she is 6 months. Looks great. Um, She'll have about 3 more months, and then she'll probably be getting back, trying to get back in shape. Hopefully, we'll see um, where that goes with with everything. But we'll see. Hold on. But yeah, so we'll we'll see where we go to next when it comes to Street Profit. So next, because it seems like when the Street Profits came out, they came out and they helped out um, Seth Rollins. So I'm just wondering, is they going to be the ones to join with Seth here in the future? So I I have to see, is this like a great move for them? Um, it could be. I think them being with Seth is going to be really interesting for me, guys, because um, I just want to see where could they go with this for Seth and the Street Profits and things like that. So I think that's one thing we have to see once we get into the the Street Profits coming back. Could they be back the same tag team they used to be? I think the tag team they was back in NXT is underrated. I loved them back then. Um, are they gimmicks going to change? Are they still going to do the we want smoke thing, or is it going to be something different? It's just something that's there that I want to see from them as we get along to the next chapter for them. But yeah, it seems like we're going to get them to join with Seth, and that's the vision. And we'll get into talks about the vision here next. Hi, Final Boss. We're kind of through most of the core because you wasn't here, but hey, you
Oh,
are here
yeah, it's
now.
been kind of a wild day,
Yeah, I
but
know.
I'm excited. But yeah, it's been kind of a wild day. For those who know. Um, did we talk about Rob Parker?
No, I was saving that for you. I did talk about everything else but
Ah,
that. I did talk about that,
oh,
and that can be the next
well,
topic since I got done
well, we're
with
gonna talk about
Street
that
Profits.
right now because I'm gonna talk about that. I gotta do something. But yeah, so I did see something on my timeline a couple days ago about someone named Rob Parker has said, um, you know, some comments about grown men watching wrestling, and I kind of ignored it because I was like, I don't know who that guy is. But today, on my way to work, I saw that Busted Open Radio. Shout out to them. Um, had an episode talking about it,
Hmm.
and so I'm like, hey, when I heard that and I saw that, had to go ahead and talk about it. So I did a little bit of research, and Buster did the same thing. So Rob Parker, apparently, he's been talking about sports for a number of decades. He's been on First Take. He's made appearance with Shannon Sharp. Shouts out to him. Shout out to Nightcap. And also has worked for Fox in the past. I don't know if he still does. But he made and they played some of they played the clip of him talking about this comment. And what he said in that clip was he said, a lot of fans were complaining about the commercials for WrestleMania versus how many matches we had and how long they were. He was like, hey, when you're young, you go to the circus, you go to the zoo. When did you outgrow wrestling? I mean, don't you outgrow that? Why are grown men still watching wrestling? There's somebody laughing in the back. And that was his comments. Now, Dave LaGreca, who is the host of Busted Open Radio, for those who don't know, shouts out to him once again. He was very, very upset. because he's a wrestling fan. He has a Sirius XM station, which is 24 hours a day. It's Pro Wrestling Nation. Um, and he said that he actually sent out a tweet to Rob Parker. Rob Parker apparently replied back saying, "You're on." So he took it as he's going to have an invite to the show. Now, did he get to the show? I don't know. I didn't finish the podcast, but De La Greca was pretty upset. And the thing is that you know a wrestling fan when you hear one, when you see one, because his arguments that he had were the same arguments that I had even before I got to the part when he had his arguments. So let's talk about, wrestling fans and different things. So Ron Parker said, "Hey, we go to the zoo, we outgrow the circus." Well, that's not true. So me, I love going to the circus. I haven't been in a number of years, but I love going to the circus. I went to the circus actually about three or 4 years ago now. So let me explain to you about the circus, right? So Barnum's and Barely, they were, and excuse me if I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but I think that's what they were called. They were the number one circus for forever. But they actually retired their circus a few years back. So that main staple circus is gone. Now, that doesn't mean the circus is gone. They still have your local circuses and of course the soul circus. I'll talk about that in a second. But that mainstream, the OG, it's like WWE of circuses, that circus is gone. And it was a lot of controversy also with them as well because about the abuse of animals. So there were a lot of different things going on with that as well. Soul Circus is also a very old circus. I grew up going to the Universal Soul Circus. When I was young, that circus was more like a comedy act where you had, I hope Miami's listening real close, the ringmaster would come out there and he would taunt the crowd and they would go up to the crowd and blow up balloons for the kids. It was a very interactive, but more of a comedy based show. Well, one thing that sets Soul Circus apart, and it still does to this day, is that they don't use animals. That's why a lot of people are a big fan of Soul Circus. Now, I went to Soul Circus about 3 4 years ago up in Maryland. And one thing I love about Soul Circus is that unlike the Barners and Bailey Circus, is that Barners and Bailey Circus, they will rent out arenas. Like I had saw them at like Madison Square Garden when I was growing up. So Circus rents actually builds the old school circus tent and everything. They still do that. And if you've been to one of the shows like I did 3 4 years ago, the same people who are performing are the same people that put on a black shirt and are your stagehands. It's the same guy. The same guy who was jumping over fire, the same guy over there plugging in wires. I know, I've seen it. Still interacting with the crowd. They're not as humorous focused anymore. I noticed that now. They are more about just kind of weird acts, roller skating, a girl bending herself. Some of the stuff a little bit testy, maybe a little bit PG-17 above. I don't know. They're kind of dancing that line a little bit with them sometimes. I will say that. A lot of people say that. But had a great time. And that's me going as an adult. So hey, that's me now outgrowing something. And to be honest, Universal Soul Circus, while they do have children, is more geared towards the adult crowd. It's kind of always sort of been that way, even when I was a child with that particular Soul Circus. It's historically a black-owned circus, but it's really geared more towards the adults entertainment, because the jokes and things that they do. Um, Now, that's one thing. Two, same thing with the zoo. Some people outgrow it, but if you go to a lot of national zoos, you'll see a lot of people who's going to the zoo to walk around, get exercise, and see animals. Same thing, like how I told Miami offline with bicycling. We all grew up mostly riding bikes. Why? Because that was our freedom, right? Our freedom was our bike. We can go anywhere we want, as we thought that as children,
Mm.
riding a bike. because why? We weren't old enough to drive, right? So we were riding our bikes around neighborhoods, going wherever we thought we would go. But I guarantee you now, if you take a walk around your block, you ride your car, you're gonna see a grown person riding a bike. There's still cyclists now, right? Riding bikes and things like that. Hey, a lot of services now rent e-bikes in a lot of cities. Because why? We never outgrew bikes. Bikes are really more so geared towards what? As children, training bikes, mountain bikes, those are children's bikes. But us as adults still use bikes. Hell, police in New York City and other national parks use what to get around because it's off road. They use what? They use bicycles. People pay hundreds of dollars to buy what? An e-bike, an electric bike, right? So the whole idea of outgrowing something to me is crazy. You want another, you want some more realism? I'm going to give it to you. Look at game systems. I talked about this with Miami. Games are meant for children. Again, games are meant for children. But when you talk about gaming consoles, you think more about what? 17 and plus is what you think about when you're talking about game consoles. A lot of those games are rated what? M for what? M for mature. They're not children's games. Most, especially males, love playing on a game system. That's the thing. And really, games are made for what? You know, for children. Same thing with watching a series. A lot of people love what? Stranger Things, love Mandalorian, and guess what? Might not be geared to children really, but guess what? It's fictional content and people still love it. Adults still love it. They still love Stranger Things. They still love series, shows and things like that, like The Mandalorian, right? Me growing up, I was a big gamer as a child. I love anime, love manga. I actually outgrew most of those things, but a lot of adults love it. And anime is actually geared towards an older audience, especially depending on, so anime could be a little bit more adult content, to be honest. If you pay attention, there's a lot of like hint and nods in there, right? So again, this is hey, someone wants to argue about outgrowing something. And then we talk about sports, right? This is where people are going to start to hate me like really bad, right? And this is something that Dave LaGreca was saying. He talked about kids and sports. Well, I played tennis and soccer growing up as a child, right? Went to a whole tennis camp, hated it, hated that motherfucker like hey, hated it. Yeah, you missed the swing 3 times, you're running around the tennis court 10 times, and you're doing like 20 pushes in like the blazing sun. It was terrible, right? But even if you hadn't played sports as a child, you were exposed to it. Why? Because you played it on the playground. You played basketball on the playground. You might have played basketball and football when you were in PE in school. You had some type of exposure to something to do with sports like activity. And if you're lucky enough, you probably were in the little leagues, and your parents signed you up for. But even if you weren't that, you still have some exposure to it. Those are kids' games. What happened? As you grow up to be an adult, they have, adult sports. They have the major leagues. You watch baseball. They have the college drafts from, pretty much everything else. But at the end of the day, what is it? It's still a children's base thing, which is sports. One of the things that Rob Parker said was that, hey, you got grown men buying titles and championships and whatever. Okay, people go absolutely stupid, stupid with sports memorabilia. Trading cards is one of the biggest things people will pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars for rare trading cards. Trading cards, that's kid stuff. But nope, a lot of people consider them to be collectibles. Same thing with signed things and signed jerseys and signed footballs and baseballs and et cetera, et cetera. People go crazy. Most men who have a space big enough or sports fans and has a partner that is okay with it has a man cave full of all their logos from their favorite team. You drive around today, you might see someone might have a bumper sticker that say their favorite team. It's all the same idea. And at the end of the day, people can say, well, the difference between sports is that sports is more about talent and it's real versus wrestling, which is fictitious. Yeah, that is true, but hell, we know sports has its things too. You got refs and coaches deflating footballs and money being exchanged and all this like weird stuff going on. Selling teams, buying teams, drafts and all this weird stuff in the industry. At the end of the day, yeah, you might be seeing two males or two females fighting for a predetermined outcome versus sports where it's just about, ability and whatever. But at the end of the day, when you say, "Hey, you're a nerd because you like wrestling, and we're cool because we like sports," at the end of the day, you are going crazy for a person that is chasing a fucking ball, a fucking object. Baseball, basketball, football, tennis, hockey putt. At the end of the day, the goal is still the same. You're still chasing after a small object. You have grown men and grown women chasing after a small object. We had the Olympics all the time, right? And what is the Olympics? They're doing different things, running and all these different things. But at the end of the day, when it comes to sports, you're looking at grown women and grown men competing for chasing after a small object or doing a weird trick. And that's their talent. It's the same thing as pro wrestling. We're watching people, put their bodies on the line for the whole idea of being what? Of being that set star. If you look at WrestleMania and Super Bowl, the whole idea of WrestleMania was what? Was our Super Bowl for wrestling fans. Yeah, one is predetermined, one is not, but the idea is still the same. What is the playoffs? What's Super Bowl? Same ideas. You have what? Two teams that are the best of the best who went through all the rankings, and now they're at the grandest stage of them all for their sport, and now they're fighting to compete. Who's going to be that better team? Same thing for wrestling. People go, wrestlers go through all of this. Some might go through tournaments to do what? To finally make it to WrestleMania. So I made, the two best women or two best men or tag teams are here to fight and prove at the end of the day who is the best at that time. It's the same idea. Now, granted, pretty sure McMahon Sr. got the idea probably from sports, but at the end of the day, it's all still the same. So the fact that he can sit there and say, "Oh, well, when you outgrow it," well, when the hell are you gonna outgrow sports? Because you're watching grown men and women chase a goddamn ball around, and you're going crazy for it. Who gives a shit? That is a closed-minded person looking at the outside. I'm not a sports fan. Mr. Parker clearly is not a wrestling fan. So if you're gonna go ahead and look at it as being a naive sports fan, I'm gonna go ahead and look at sports as being a naive wrestling fan. I mean, that's the truth. So what's your argument? And that's how I feel about it. David Greco from Must Open, he was very upset. He was just his voice was so loud I could turn down my dial a little bit because he was so upset. Um, and everything he said, I agree with. He talked about sports. And when it comes to wrestling, it's always kind of been that kind of outlier thing, right? Like where it's either you're a fan of it or you're really not, and those who are not in it don't understand it. I feel about sports. I don't understand the hype behind it. Um, but in 2026, we thought things have changed a lot for wrestling, it being more mainstream because we got a lot of celebrities coming around. I'm not talking about just about this year. I'm talking about even previous years. We had celebrities come and make appearances. They've been doing that for decades and more decades. I mean, remember we had Tyson's and Shaquille O'Neal's back in the day, Snoop Dogg's back in the day. Um, and then they had this whole partnership with Netflix. And then they had a partnership with ESPN, right? ESPN, is, the sports giants. So you think, hey, we're mainstream. But him saying those comments still puts us back years ago where, hey, you are a dork if you are of age and like wrestling. The difference between wrestling and sports though, and this is where it gets really tough, is that sports has been around forever, right? I remember the whole like when it was different, where it was like gladiators, like style stuff, right? Um, when at the Coliseums, right? I love the Coliseums. Um, but the actual idea of actual this modern day sports is geared towards children. Wrestling was not geared towards children. Yeah, you had your high school, middle school wrestling teams. We have that. But it was never really geared towards children because as we all know, way back when, years ago, the style of wrestling, it was more adult branded, as far as the sexuality that they had on TV, as far as the moves they would do, the gore, they would do, bleeding, blading. It was really geared towards an adult audience. And somewhere along the line, things kind of did a little switch because the world changes and we're like, hey, let's make it more geared towards children. So that way, when their parents get old and they can't go anymore or they're no longer here with us, their children will come and then they'll like it because they remember when they went with their parents and then they'll have children. And then that was McMahon's whole thing was, hey, we want it to be a family event. So that way the parents will bring their children. And when those children grow up, they'll be wrestling fans and then they have children. Now we have their wrestling fans and it just continues and then we'll have this forever audience. That was his idea, which is actually pretty damn good. It's actually the best businesses I ever seen. But the original concept, it was not really geared towards children. So the fact that you can say now, or when you outgrow it, outgrow what? Wrestling wasn't geared towards children. There was warnings on the damn program all the damn time. It was not geared towards children. It was actually geared towards adults. And remember, their demographic is what? 18 to 49. That's the demographic. They always talk about that. It's not geared towards children. Just because it is a predetermined type of entertainment, it is not geared towards children. Yeah, we had the PG era, and that was, again, with McMahon having that whole, hey, let's really focus on building the next generation of WWE fans in the universe, which again, great idea. But it wasn't initially geared towards children. I mean, hell, here we are in 2026. We have Pat McAfee saying, let's bring back the old school, which was what? Not geared towards children. So, I mean, hey, maybe, we're getting upset because, we're wrestling fans. We take it personal, as we should. But to say something like that and just be so oblivious and not understand that there's so much stuff um, around um, around what you said, it's crazy, especially with you being a sports person, supposedly. I don't know if you have any opinions on it or anything you want to share. But that's just how I feel.
Oh yeah, I got a lot of. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a few pointers that I want to make. This was actually a topic before you brung it to me because I actually see someone on TikTok make a video saying that the WWE is changing because of the way they was doing the adding the celebrities. The crowd has changed. Back in the day, you used to have the people come in suit and ties and I'm talking about old days back when these come, when you used to come to um, the wrestling events. They used to be suits and ties, and then it evolved to like, you had your women in dresses and the guys in suits, and then evolved to these people having the merch on. We're talking about back when the Hogan days and stuff, and where we're at now, which you're basically saying. This guy was saying, I actually seen someone say this on TikTok, and I was like, well, if WrestleMania is going to be bad, this could be true because it seems like WWE was taking that way of just really surrounding their company around celebrities, 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 which was one of our topics on DW Radio. Something that we was kind of a little upset about too. And I mean, we had that debate because I was like, well, it was there, and you made the great statement of saying, well, yes, it was there, but it wasn't used at that capacity, which is true. That is true. And when I hear this, what you're saying is probably you say he's been in for sports for 40 years, so pretty much he probably knows what he's talking about when it comes to sports. And someone like this probably doesn't recognize WWE, AEW. It doesn't matter if it's TNA, AA, whatever it could be. He probably doesn't recognize it as a sport, which is cool. Okay, we know that. And my question to him is just, okay, if we outgrow it, and people who have kids, how they're gonna go to it? How they're gonna love it? How did we start loving it? I started loving wrestling through my uncle. I didn't know jack
Mm.
shit about wrestling. I didn't know nothing about wrestling. One day he sat down. I was sitting down with him, and back then Hogan was wrestling. You had Macho Man. You had your guys back then. Your Andres and all that stuff back then. And I didn't know what this was, but it caught my eye. It was such something that I'd never seen before that was so amazing to me that I gravitated to since then. Most of us that have watched wrestling, and I'm not talking about the new people. Hey, if you're new, cool. If you just start watching, now you're older. Something brought you to it. But I'm talking to my OG wrestling fans that grew up watching this. People like your Stampedes, people like me or CJ. We grew up watching this. The only way we was brought onto this was through our parents. They was grown, so somebody has to introduce you to something for you to like it. Am I correct, or am I just making it up? And I'm just spinning my wheels. I'm pretty sure someone had to introduce you to this, and I'm guaranteeing it wasn't a kid. The only time I see someone that's younger than me that introduces something to me is newer music. That's the only time. Sports, no. It's always someone older or someone that's probably about my age. Wrestling, most of the majority of the time, is someone older or someone who's about my age. Um, Hell, else like movies, like an old school movie or good movies, or like they remaking a movie that someone my age or older knew about. Is someone older or someone about my age bringing that to my attention? So for a person to say this, and I thought, especially the world we're living in now, where we're so media based, we're so streaming based, we're so how can I say this? Platform based, where you can reach so many people. And I always say to myself, I know we joke and say WWE might be listening to us, or this person might be listening to us, and if it is a busted open listening to us, or fight for, or talk it up, or if it is WWE, hey, thanks, because we're not big as we should be, and I wish we was. I hope we do get there one day. I try my best to do that and do it the right way, um, and doing it. But I think the whole thing here is as a fan, and I don't look at someone who loves AEW as an AEW fan. I look at it as a wrestling fan. Someone who just loves TNA. I don't look at him as a TNA fan. I look at him as a wrestling fan. Even if you just love AA, I look at you as a wrestling fan. If you love WWE, you are a wrestling fan. And when I say wrestling fan, I mean you're diehards. Because, man, we are diehards. And that's why the whole reason of making DWE, the whole reason of making DWE Radio, Talk It Up podcast, the whole reason was for the IWC to come on and hit and let their voices be heard. That's why we put the link that's really available to anyone right now that's on both pages to come in and let your voices be heard. Cause we know that there are wrestling fans out there. We don't try to, move away from, hey, we don't want to hear you, what you got to say. It's just not a Miami and Final Balls show. It's all of our shows because this where we started off at. Our group chat is full of different wrestling fans. That's what it is for. Me and Final Balls, we love the Bloodline. Now, she loves the Raw. I love Roman. But guess what? We do this show together. We don't turn down people who love Liv Morgan or whoever love Gunther or Jay or whoever else you love. You're welcome into the community because that's why we built it. We built it for just not us. We built it for everyone. For someone to say it like that, I cringe when you say it because
and
I'm like,
and
man, I thought we moved past
and
that.
here's the thing that that Miami said is that, hey, um to say that these wrestling fans don't exist, well, yeah, they're down in sales, they are, but there's still a big amount of people who like wrestling. Yeah, again, they are down in sales, but that's because the
Hmm.
product, is not to our liking, it's not to our standards and stuff. But hey, take a look at the front row of PLEs. Who you mostly see in that front row? You might see a few kids, but you see who? You see adults in there, adult fans. Hey, look at the hard cam. You tell me who you see. Grown celebrities, don't you? I mean,
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's
Well, my thing is my whole thing is the thought process for him is,
hmm
and I hope you get to watch the Nate's interview was, okay, who's buying these tickets to go to these shows? Who's getting the merch? Who's sitting there, kids? Let's
the
just.
fans. And
I'm thinking
again, like I
as
said,
exactly.
like I
You
said,
got to be a
like I
kid can't
said,
buy
their
a ticket.
demographic once again is ages what? 18 to 49 demographic. Hey,
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
we were such a unwanted product and it's only for children, why the hell they got an ESPN deal? Why the hell TKO bought them? And why the hell does Netflix got them? Why the hell Fox got them? Why the hell were they with Peacock? Because they
Yeah.
see the money
Hell,
that's in there. They see the number.
you got. Well, let's say all of them in Pacific. Hell, AEW, even though they had their own um app, they are on TBS, they're on HBO. You still got those products that get, and most people. I mean, TBS ain't been known for kids stuff, and back since they was doing Captain Planet. I'm gonna take
Hell,
y'all way back. That was
remember when WWE was on
baby.
what? It was on freaking Spike TV at one point.
Exactly. So it's like you would think that most of the places where you're catching these shows, he would think that okay, yeah, you are bringing your kids, but most people, the reason why adults are liking it, we grew up off of watching this. This has been something that we've loved. Yes, and this is why I always preach. I love AEW in the WWE dynamic because it gives. If I'm getting tired of this, guess what? I can always go over and watch AEW because it was a point. It was getting a little bad. I was
Well,
like,
hey, I
man,
think
I
we're
might gotta
getting a
go back and
little
watch
bit.
this.
Hey, I think we're getting a little bit sidetracked. This is not about liking one product over another. This is someone taking a shot at WWE fans as a whole, saying, well, not sorry, wrestling fans as a whole, and looking at us like, hey, how could you guys still like that?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That what I say as fans. That's what I'm saying. Like as fans, it's a whole community together. It's not just WWE because he said wrestling fans. Remember, there's
Mm-hmm.
more than just
Wrestling.
WWE out there. Wrestling. That's the key word here. We
Mm-hmm.
can't we can't push out other people when it's wrestling. That's the key word he used. Am I correct? Did he say
Wrestling
WWE?
fans. Wrestling
So he said
fans.
wrestling fans. That means every product that deals with wrestling. So no matter what you watch, it can be big, small. The reason why we are watching it because, like I said, once again, somebody either was a diehard fan and they love that product, and that's the reason why they're watching it, or they grew up watching one thing and they got bored of, hey, WWE is not it for me no more, so I'm gonna go over here and watch AA, or I'm gonna go over here and watch AEW. That's the reason why they're watching it. For first of all, two, the only way these guys are making their money is because we have to go to the shows to pay, even if we got kids or not got kids, you still got to pay to go see it. Or you got to pay the app to see it. Just like I'm watching sports, you made a great point about sports. Hey, I got to pay $100 to watch NFL throughout the season. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's certain parts I don't want no commercials. I like to see every touchdown. I like to see the stats. I'm such a big. Everybody know I love football. I love it because it's one of my sports I love. Because one, I played it, even though I played basketball too. But I love football over basketball because that's a sport I enjoy. And I think that's the thing we're saying. We're both saying here too. As wrestling fans, people enjoy it. That's why we're watching it. And I don't think he understands that concept because maybe he just wasn't a wrestling fan. Maybe that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
about it. And like I say, hey, he might be a great
Hey,
analyst
another
because he been doing it for
idea of
40
that
years.
is, DC and Marvel. Comic books were geared towards what at one point? Children. Now
Yeah,
that's mostly an adult type of entertainment. Where people love,
yeah.
the Avengers. People love DC Marvel. People, a
Hmm.
lot of the fan base now is adults. Most children, aren't the biggest Spider-Man, Batman, Aquaman, Avengers. Like they are like because they like it, but a lot of that is those diehard fans
Yeah,
or
yeah.
adults who have the collectibles who've been watching it since the original series. They want the
Yeah,
original comic books.
and I
Those
and I'm one of them because I know about every comic book, every because that's cause, but once again, guess why? Because I grew up off of it. Somebody introduced that to me. It's something that was
you know,
introduced to me, so
when they have,
I just don't
when
understand
they
why he's
have
saying that.
those conventions, most of those are what adults going to those conventions,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Comic Con. I mean, hey, you
right?
see, most adults are dressing up as their favorite characters. You see
Cosplay,
them dressing up
cosplay.
as a yeah, yeah, yeah. You see
That's
them, yeah,
cosplay.
cosplaying as yeah
And
something. It
hey,
could be Star
as
Wars,
we know,
Marvel,
for
whatever.
those who know, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shot for those who want to get freaky out there.
Oh
A lot of
Lord.
that, hey, cosplay is really not it's not a children based thing. A lot of cosplay kind of plays more into the adult side. Now, it doesn't have to be that extreme of adult side, but a lot of it is for adults dressing up as their favorite characters and also,
Hmm.
doing role play. Um, so hey, so it's not geared towards children.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it is it. I feel like us as a community, I feel like we've grown to get away from saying that hey, you should not be adult watching wrestling because that's not true. Hey, even The Rock came in and said, hey, wrestling is cool again. He said it for a reason. So I mean, come on. I mean, and it was. I mean, it drove a lot of people back to watching this, and some of us have stayed since then. Even though the Rock is gone, and hopefully he'll be coming back, but still, that
Hmm.
that kind of drove us in. So, like I said, I'm looking at it two different ways. It's just probably a sports guy that doesn't understand why
Hmm.
we're watching this because
But
they
the
don't,
whole
and
thing
a
is
lot of
that
people don't
you,
particularly this as a
you
sport.
as a sports, but that person as a sports person should understand that you're watching grown men and grown ladies chase around balls.
Well, I
Like
guess
that's.
they look at it as you got see, and I'm like I say, I'm playing devil's advocate because that's what we're supposed to be on here doing. Is I guess you're looking at it as they seem like it's more physical. It's more like you get injured, but it doesn't make sense because hey, these wrestlers get injured too. You
Yep,
can't
they
fake an
get injured.
ACL. You can't fake it. You can't
Yes,
fake
they get
a
injured.
neck injury where you can't yeah you can't fake that. So it's
Hmm.
crazy to me that for someone to still think, oh, you're watching it and it's not real. I bet that's what he was thinking. He didn't say it,
Hmm.
but I
You're
bet
watching
it
it's
came
not
off. Yeah,
real.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
It
well, it's
came off
comic book
when you said it. It
superheroes
came like
real.
that.
You know,
No.
it's all those times when you have watched series, TV series. Is that shit real?
Well, and I don't think he understands. All of us have some type of escape. Let me tell you, find about
Wow.
greatest escape from the world:
Oh, here we
watching
go.
nails and watching makeup. Tell me if I'm lying. That's our escape.
Well, it's more
Everyone
like
has an
buying,
escape.
but.
Well, still, it's an escape. You watching it and buying it. It still doesn't matter. It's your escape of just getting stuff. If you are not happy, what I do? Here you go. Here goes some money. Go buy you some nails. You the rest is history. You don't forgot everything. Oh, I'm here buying nails. I know. You can't lie to
Hmm.
me. I know. My escape is football. My other escape,
Hmm.
I love watching wrestling. I love playing the game. Well, now I got to get my game face, but those are everyone has their escape. Watching Marvel,
Hmm.
that's an escape for me because I love it so much. Hell, you most people come to me and say, "Hey, Miami, this episode had Daredevil. This person showed up. Who is it?" And I can tell you who is it, what episode they got of it, what comic book number, everything, because I love it. So that's a escape. We all have
Hmm.
some type of escape. Music, hell, fashion is some. Everyone has their escape. Food is some kind of escape you have. So I mean, he maybe he's not looking at it as that way, and he didn't look at it that way.
Hmm.
It'll be a pop another topic
Hmm.
we'll bring back up on DW Radio because you said you got to watch the other part of the interview, but it's a great topic to talk about and just pick our brains
Hmm.
about it because like I say, me and
Hmm.
you are both big wrestling fans and we love it.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, we might get a few things here wrong or
And
there,
hey,
but we
and
do know
hey,
the
guess
history of it.
and hey, guess what? Yeah, a lot of them stadiums are built, for sporting events. But guess who else is renting
Hmm.
out them damn stadiums?
Wrestling, yeah.
Exactly,
It doesn't matter if it's
exactly.
venue. It could be a venue. It
Yep.
could be a stadium. It could be arena. They still renting them out. And so
Mm-hmm.
so some and you gotta be doing some kind of goddamn good to be doing any one of those things. You gotta be doing something right. You know what I'm saying? Because that costs a little
Mm-hmm.
money. It ain't cheap. So it ain't
Mm-hmm.
cheap. But like I said, um before you came, I only had two more topics left.
Mm.
Before we got out here, but because I did cover the Ethan page, I know you don't know about Ethan and Soul Ruku. Oh, I don't think I talked about Obafemi. If you want to talk about that, we can talk about it together because I don't think I did touch on that.
What do you say about Soroka?
Well, I was saying basically I was saying that I loved her debut. I don't know
Mm.
if you did see the spot that she took on NXT this past Tuesday. It was not
Nope.
one of the best spots. Yeah, it
Oh
was a bad
jeez.
spot. Even Fightful and Sean was like, oh man, it was just. And shouts out to them. And before they even showed that spot, I was talking about the EO Sky spot that she keeps doing, and I was just like, WWE used to be more of a place where they used to do safety first, and I want them to kind of get back to that. I know they want to get to that off factor or try to go viral and stuff. That's mostly the thing now these days. But I think my main thing when it comes to Soul Ruku and even EO is just doing a safer spot, or finding another way to do a spot. Now I know the spot was meant to her go through both tables, but it didn't go that way. She went through one table and the other table just really kind of hit the back of her head, almost the neck area, which is we all know. Everyone, I did run down the list of people who have had those neck injuries in the past. The Edge, the Daniel Bryan's, Paige, who just came back that did an interview on Stephanie's show that said she was a nervous wreck because before you come to WWE, you have to do a screening, a test, and then if you can't pass, they'll let you know why you pass, and you if you get it taken care of, you can get it taken care of. If not. But people like that, Big E, Piper Niven, people like that, those injuries have happened to people like that, and that's what had me saying stuff about EO about how she's been. I mean, it's been shown on on different occasions where she's kind of landed a weird way doing this suicide dive, but I liked it. So I think So did very well with her and Liv Morgan. They put her in a spot where she went straight after the United States champion. We did have a couple comments. I think Stampede was telling me about some news about Ethan Page. I did not know that he was 39. He looks actually way younger than that. So that was news to me. He was saying that so is a young um, competitor, and he sees some good things potentially on the horizon for her, and I do too. Like I say, they put her straight into the women's. They let her face the women's champion, and I love the way they're doing these NXT stars now, where they're
Okay,
putting them
I'm sorry.
on the
Are you
spot.
talking about Ethan Page? You're talking about Sol Ruka.
No, no, Soul Ruku. I was saying Soul Ruku. I like the way they
Well,
put
you're
her.
saying.
No, I said so Ruku. Listen,
Mm-hmm,
I said he
mm-mm,
said it,
mm-mm.
how old was Ethan. And I said, well, I didn't know that, and I went back to Soul. I was saying Soul.
Oh,
I said I
okay.
love the way
Because
they did. Yeah, I said I love the way her Liv did this match, and they put her in the um picture of being what facing the women's champion on on Raw. I don't know what's her condition. Does she has a concussion? Will she be having a match on Monday? Because sometimes they do put people in concussion protocol. Because like I say, she did have a nasty land on Tuesday, but probably by Monday she should be okay. But I don't know. They might switch some things around because of this spot. I haven't heard anything about it, but like I say, I did see the video of that. But yeah, I got some high hopes for So. I think she'll do well um, on Raw. I do like seeing her on Raw, and I do like her Soul Snatcher, and she does want to have a match with Randy Orton. I did hear about that, but yeah. Other than that, no. I That's all I really had initially on Soul Ruku, and I did talk about Ether Page too. So those two I did knock out because I knew you didn't know too much about them. That's what I started off with because I know you don't know too much about the NSC stars.
yeah, and it seemed like the crowd didn't know either because no one because Zarya came out there and we're like, who the hell is that? But
I know why that because yeah, she never
hmm
appeared on the main roster yet. So yeah, I figured that
well,
was gonna happen.
so Rook only did what only one other time I believe it was. She came once. Maybe I think it was a SmackDown episode. She came one time,
Um,
long time
I
ago.
think
I think.
it probably once or twice, if I'm not mistaken. It's probably once or twice. It could be once, but I know she did it on SmackDown. I thought she did it on a Raw, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance by Sol Ruka. I actually liked the reaction that the reaction slash rebuttal that Liv gave to Sol Ruka. I like her saying, "Hey, you're no Liv Morgan, honey." I thought that was very good. I thought Sol Ruka looked great in the match between her and Liv Morgan. Um,
Hmm.
I hope that they're gonna plan to make this an ongoing feud for Liv, and hopefully, it'll give Sol Ruka that main card push. So we'll see. But I'm actually pretty excited for it now. Of course, we got a standoff between at the end of that, a standoff between her and Stephanie. It was
Hmm.
weird because Stephanie came out at the entrance ramp. They didn't get physical. Um, thank God, because I believe they're still a little banged up. But they had a stare off, and it looked like Stephanie was saying something to Liv Morgan, and I could have swore I saw her lips move. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I could have swore I saw her lips move, and we didn't hear them speaking. So I'm like, I don't know if that was part of the plan, or if the thing was, hey, it's just making her look like she's speaking, but we can't really play the audio because it's the language barrier there.
Hmm.
But
Well,
yeah,
I had to look at that part. She could have
yeah,
been. I
yeah. They
mean,
kind of like
usually they
zoomed
do
in on the
that angle like
side. It
that.
was just kind. It was just kind of like it
Hmm.
was. Yeah, it was odd. Um, but yeah, so it looks like Stephanie and her feud is not quite over. Because she had that stare down with her.
Yeah, I just think by that is I think a lot of people was kind of upset about the match being so short, final balls, because they were saying that was the shortest match at Mania. From a few comments before you came
4 minutes.
someone
Yeah.
was, yeah, yeah, some people saying that I guess Liv was still a little injured, not too injured, but it was just good enough to do a match for that time limit, and that's why they didn't stretch it that long. But it didn't make sense if that was the case. I was like, well, hey, she had a great match between her and Sol Ruka the next day. So I was like, I don't think that's the case. I just think that the match was just that short. I think they didn't have no initial plan. They was like, hey, this is gonna be it. I don't know if they didn't want Stephanie to do not too many moves because maybe Liv was injured in certain spots or what, or they didn't just trust her and Liv together. But it seems like you said, they're going to run it back. I'm thinking backlash final balls, but I just don't know if you put from what I'm hearing, they probably put the title back on Stephanie, but that would make no sense to me. I think just doing this match and just running it back and just let Liv retain and let Stephanie Bakir go to something else. Hey, you can do her and Becky because right now we was talking about Becky earlier, where who could be next for Becky for our IC championship. Now she has a title back, and I didn't think about that until now. You put Stephanie with Becky. I don't think we even got that match between those two yet. Because I said
This
probably run
was
back Maxine Dupree, but we'll see. Is that something to fight, boss?
no.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I just think
Mm.
they run it back and just give Stephanie and do a Stephanie and Becky. I think that will be something that will quite interesting and give something Becky new if they that's what they want to do. But yeah, it was a
Mm.
weird it was a weird angle. But I have to go back and look and see if that's what she was saying something because I didn't catch that part. I did like
Well,
when Liv did
I
go like come to the front and kind of moved over Roxanne and Raquel to like let her know that she wasn't scared of Stephanie no more. I did like that little bit. I did catch that part of it. She held the
see.
title up in front of her.
I didn't really pick that up. So that's
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
catch.
Yeah, yeah. I did see that part, and I was like, oh, that's very nice that she did it because because they kind of held her back because they was like trying to protect her, and she moved them out the way and just kind of brushed in front of him and then held the title up like she wasn't afraid of it. So I did like that from Liv Morgan. Just saying that she will be a fighting champion. So hey, that was a good little moment, the little spot there they do. I did catch that, but other than that, I didn't catch nothing else.
Yeah.
But
Did you
did you have any
talk
thoughts about
about
Street Profits coming back?
no?
Oh, go
No.
ahead.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Um,
You said they'll talk about what?
it makes sense that that he's back now. We're talking about Marquez Ford because we just got doing WrestleMania. That Bianca and him are expecting a baby. And he, clearly he's in great shape. He's back to being Marquez Ford again. Been working out. I assume Bianca said, "Hey, it's time to get back in the ring." And I'm with baby. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's good in a sense because now we have some more tag teams for like the Vision to take on now. Clearly, I don't think we're going to see the Usos back in the tag team division for quite some time because they're too busy involved with Roman's story right now. So that kind of takes out a whole tag team. So really, the Street Profits are really filling that gap for where the Usos would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Because notice now they're back on Raw and they were last seen where on SmackDown. So I find that to be kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You was about to ask me that I talk about something, but um, I was actually about to say you
Oh,
talk about something else.
did you talk about Brock Lesnar? Did you talk about Jacob?
Yeah. No, I didn't talk about Jacob yet, but I did talk about the whole. I did give everyone my thoughts about Brock. I'm pretty sure they will want to hear your thoughts about Brock. About him. You think he
Yeah.
retiring?
I mean, from what it looks like he is retiring. Unfortunately, he gave up the X. Reports came out that only very few knew about his retirement, and Paul Heyman wasn't one of those who knew. So that's why he's doing up the X, to let him know, hey, this is not a script. I really am retiring. Um, which is sad. But I feel like it was definitely a his call thing. Because I'm pretty sure that if WWE knew that it was his last match, they would have promoted it as being his last match, and they did not. Um, the only thing that's interesting is two things. One, he was advertised for Raw. Michael Cole started the show by saying Brock was going to be there, and he did not come. Instead, we got this weird segment where Paul Heyman comes out with the Vision and said, and shits on CM Punk and said, yeah, CM Punk wants to shout out the production team. We'll take him out of the now and put him in the forever because Brock is forever. And he gave this really emotional promo instead. I'm like, is Brock coming out? Nope. He said moving on to the Vision. So I'm like, I guess Brock is not coming, which is kind of odd. I don't know if he's supposed to come. He just did a no show. It was kind of, or I don't know what that was, but he was definitely advertised. And Michael Cole and talked about it and had the graphic up and we get started the show and we didn't get it. Um, only thing that's interesting, and there's like this other thing that's interesting with that as well, is that you have Brock in that same promo talk about how he owes Gunther one for taking out Seth Rollins, and if say the word and he'll make it happen. And I was like, well, Gunther wants a title shot, but I'm like, well, maybe the favor is not what we think it is. Because remember, we had him backstage and he was like, I'll talk to you about the favor later at a different time. So maybe the favor is that he wants, we're talking about Gunther, he wants Paul Heyman somehow to convince Brock to come back for another match and put his career on the line. And then he loses it at SummerSlam. I mean, now I don't know if they're actually gonna do that, but I said, what if it is that? And if it is, I am intrigued, and I think it'd be great. It'll be a great way to sell tickets on SummerSlam because everyone wants to see Brock's last match in his hometown. Um, but uh, Yeah, but I don't know. First of all, the way WWE booking is like, hey, it's very flat. It's not twisted in any regards. So I highly doubt it's gonna happen. But man, wouldn't it be cool if they were to go ahead and do that? Um, and that's what I say about Brock. Do you have any other things to say about Brock? If not, we can move on um to Jacob in a moment. Oh well, Miami's gone. Oh, there he is, and he's on camera. Hey, look, Miami working. I can't hear Miami for some reason. Miami, can you hear me? Nope. Yes. Nope. Might have to leave and come back. But I think Miami can't hear me. But I can't hear him.
Let me go back out. I
Okay,
can't
there you
hear you,
go.
fine, but I'm gonna go back
There you
out and
go.
come back
I can
in.
hear you now. Hello. I can hear you. Yes.
I see a mic moving.
Hey.
It was who's fine balls? Oh, I guess we lost her. I don't know what she was on because mine went out. Well, let me go read some comments before we get to the when she get back. Let me see. We got nerd here. He was saying um, they brung out Brock Lesnar as a celebrity. They're going to bring out Brock Lesnar as a celebrity at SummerSlam. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Um, I don't know, man, because I don't think Brock will show up and do like the whole. He don't scream host thing to me when it comes to him coming out like that. It just he don't come out like that to me. It doesn't. It doesn't scream that. I do not see Greg's um statement because he had made one, but because it kicked me out. I hate when it does that, and you don't see the comments that was up before you got kicked out. Um, yeah, I don't know what was Final Boss on when I came back because it kicked me out, and then I had to come back in. I couldn't hear. So I just try to wait before she come back. But as she come back, um, I think she wanted to talk. I didn't talk about Oba Femi's promo. Um, so I'll talk about it. Hopefully, by the time I get to the end of it, she'll probably be back. But I feel Obafemi. I love the promo for Obafemi. We was talking about Brock just a few minutes ago, so we know that Obafemi did defeat Brock. I won't say retire because, like I say, no one doesn't know officially yet. But I did like the promo from Obafemi saying that he has arrived. It reminded me of when Roman defeated Undertaker, saying, "I'm the it's my yard now." A lot of people was comparing it to that, um, and he called out Roman in the press conference immediately, which is very shocking. He's going straight. He wants to go straight for Roman. It looks like he will be on Raw, which we already knew that he was going to be on Raw. Um, so I don't think they need to keep him off a TV. They got to keep building them. Um, you can give them a few people here and there. Um, I'm, you already did something with Rusev. It was an okay match. I just don't know who you can give them. Maybe you can do a little bit here and there. You got to give them a story before we get to Roman. I don't think they just need to rush and put them with Roman, especially now you got Roman and Jacob going head to head with each other on this backlash. I think you want to say that you can't keep over off of TV for so long that he just shows back up. He's not that big yet. And I hope that's not the um, initial way they're going to go with Oba, but we'll have to see where they go when it comes to Oba Femi and what's next for him. Because like I say, it was a decent promo, like one sentence. We see what they was going to go with Roman. I'm not gonna lie, and I still say that to this day. When Roman did that, this is my yard now. I swear, I thought they was going to turn him heel. I was like, oh my god, he's going to go heel, but they kept him as a face. I don't know if Ova's like a face or a heel. He's probably like tweener right now, maybe. Um, I don't think he has. I don't think the IWC has really kind of placed a label on him yet. The crowd still loves him. He did have a birthday, I think yesterday or a couple of days ago. So happy birthday to him with that. So yeah, but we'll go back to that if I can get Final Boss here in the studio. We're going to touch on our last. I'm going to touch on our last topic for today, which was one of my favorite topics. Jacob wants to face Roman. We knew that Roman came out. He came up. He pulled up in the SUV, and then you heard the crowd singing the Roman Reigns. You know Roman Reigns, and he was going through Gorilla, and Jimmy and Jay was standing there, and he dapped them up, and before his music hit, because we all know he's back to head of the table music, which is one of my favorite things, man. I no disrespect to I Am Greatness, but I love Head of the Table. It was always one of my favorite songs. Always was one of my favorite things when Roman came out, and he just initialed Jimmy and Jay to come out with him, and Michael Cole said one of the greatest lines of the night. It feels like old times, and it did. It came off old time as. Um, Roman came out and did a great promo with the Usos, saying that um, he wants to. He's glad to have them back. He's glad to have their respect, and he has their respect, and everything. He just really kind of made a statement saying that what I got from it was the whole bloodline, the family, they're kind of scattered, which they are. But Solo, and the MFT, they're on SmackDown. You got Sammy, he's on SmackDown. Jacob, which we thought was on SmackDown, but actually came out, and he's now officially on Raw. So he's now on Raw. So and he came out and wants to face Roman, and he that's what happened. He came out facing Roman, and said, basically, I want to take on you because I'm doing this because I want to feed my kids, I want to feed my family, and I want to basically just, you know, be have everything that the tribal chief has. Great setup to start
Can
this
you hear me?
next chapter for Roman. I think a lot of
Can you hear
people
me?
was thinking that was going to be Gunther,
Yes, no.
but no, it was Jacob, and it surprised me. It came out of nowhere.
Hello?
It surprised me, and I was just
Hello?
really
Hello?
shocked and surprised of
Hello?
the whole
Hello?
direction they went
Hello?
with this, and I
Oh,
really loved
Lord.
it. Got me interested. He told Jacob, "Hey, I'm going to give you a week to think about that, and let me know what your answer is." And We're gonna see what's gonna happen Monday. If everyone doesn't know, if everyone missed the press conference for Roman, he says he's back full time and he'll be back at Backlash. Like I said, I can't think of when the last time he did Backlash. I have to go Google it, but it's been a long time. I bet I can guarantee that. You can't, y'all can't hear me? Okay, let me go out and come back in. Final boss says she can't hear me. Let me go out and come back in.
I can hear you, but you can't hear me. Oh, geez.
Why is it two of me up here? Can you hear me now, Final Boss? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Anybody?
Hear me? Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Okay. Now I can hear
You know,
you.
I can hear you. You just
So,
couldn't hear me.
the oh, okay. So I was like, dang, I hope I ain't say all that. Nobody didn't hear me. Okay. Oh, jeez. But I was just talking about the Roman Reigns and Jacob stuff. If you want to share your thoughts about that, you can. I don't know if you heard everything I was saying so far about it. Is she saying something, y'all? Cause I can't hear. I don't know if you're there now. Final boss, can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Hello?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Okay.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I was really surprised that Jacob came out there because one, we haven't seen Jacob in a main card picture. We've seen him, do the IC stuff, but we haven't seen him. Well, was it the IC or was it the United States
Yeah,
Championship?
it was United
Don't.
States. It was United States.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, the U.S. Championship, but we haven't seen him get involved into the main card picture. And the fact that, you know, he's not even going for Cody's title, which is on SmackDown. He's going for now Roman's title, which is on Raw, was very interesting to me. And another reason why it's interesting to me is also because before Jacob came out, because for this whole time, for a while, it seemed like they were teasing the return of the Bloodline. Before WrestleMania returning, and then all of a sudden, it's like they pivoted and went from that to just being about Punk, Punk being old and Roman being a part timer. And for WrestleMania, it was clean, which is great. I'm glad it was a clean match for Punk and Roman. It was
Hmm.
the best match. Now, a lot of people are
Yeah.
saying it was one of the best matches of all WrestleMania. I don't know, but I will say that it was the best match out of both nights easily. It was also the longest match, and it was kind of a play on a play on the bill because remember part of the bill was you had Roman telling Punk that he's old, and Punk said he know that he's old, but he's still here, he still can go. And then we got the match for WrestleMania. We heard Punk say, who was the old man now? We heard that, and then it played into it at the end because guess what happened? That was the longest match of both nights, and this is coming from, Roman's, 40, which is, up there, but it's coming from Punk, who was in his late 40s, who part of the promo before WrestleMania was that he was old. So it kind of all played together. So I kind of like that idea, right? Because then if it went 5 minutes, it would say, oh well, that's because Punk is old, So I kind of like this that dynamic. Now going back to Raw, so Roman talked about how much he missed this, he missed being with the Usos, and really with the bloodline. He talked about I don't want you to serve me, I want you to stand by me. So it's Roman kind of playing. Is he a baby face, or is he gonna be this master manipulator character? That's kind of the odd end. And then the also element to that is, again, I always love the bloodline stories because there's so many layers, and in this alone, we already got multiple layers. We got layer one is, hey, is Roman a baby's face? Layer two, is Roman pretending to be a baby's face, and he is gonna try to manipulate. How is he gonna manipulate the Usos? Is he gonna turn them against each other? Or is he gonna turn against them both? I mean, there's that. We're gonna see, a Jay and Jimmy feud, again. Or
Mm-hmm.
are we gonna see the Usos turn on Roman? Or we're gonna see a triple turn when the Usos turn on Roman, and then one of them turn on the other Uso. I mean, there's a lot of layers to that. And so I was intrigued by that. And I'm like, well, does it start with the Usos, or does it kind of blend into the Samoans? Is it going to blend into the Tongas? Is it going to blend into, JC Mateo? Is it going to bleed into Solo Sokoa? And then we got, of course, Jacob coming out and saying what you said about how he want to put his kids in the good schools, and he want to have everything. He wants all this now. It's his time is now. So that's Cena, but no. Uh, but it all kind of made sense. It kind of tied together where his whole character has been just the guy who's a bit unstable. You can't really control him to where, yeah, he's
Mm-hmm.
unstable. He's unstable because he's not just a monster, because he's a criminal, and you can't really play into that whole, oh yeah, it is a jailbird. And it all this kind of played into a role. Now they kind of switched that and put it all together where, hey, I'm tired of being, the black sheep of the family. I've had, my ups and downs in life, but hey, I'm here now, and I'm gonna start, being everything I ever wanted to be. And I really like that aspect because they've been really building that whole idea since Jacob debuted on the with WWE, with him being like the black sheep, the one that's kind of different. He's not the lovable Usos that we like, or like the tribal chief that's all this aura, but he's also like the guy who has everything, and everybody wants to be Roman. Like he's different. He's the black sheep. He's the guy that's a little bit more tough, and those are no one. That's kind of in his character. So they're kind of all playing that into it. But
Mm-hmm.
here we go with the layers where, okay, um, if we have, ooh, that's not gonna be good. That's good. But if we do have um Roman versus Jacob, which they probably are, because like you said, Roman said, hey, think about it, really what you're gonna go ahead and do. Let me know next week. So we'll see Roman next week. Um, so that's great. Um, but is it also going to be where you have the Roman and Jacob match, and then we have the Usos? Like, whose side are you on? If you're on the side of Jacob, you're on the side of Roman. What you would think, if you're on the side of Roman, but is there going to be a turn there as well? Or is it going to be where, hey, even if Roman retains, he is going to be that person that took him to the limit, just like Jay did when he had that really good match against Jay. Is Jacob going to be that person that's going to make Roman question himself? And then you'll have the Usos might say, hey, you can't do it on your own. Maybe you're in the chop. We kind of go back into that. Or if Jacob happens to win against Roman, who's, we kind of play back into what Solo was, where, hey, he's a travel now. He's running things now. You're going to fall in line with him now. You're going to have, which I doubt it would, but, the idea of Roman kind of following behind Jacob because he's the champion now. I mean, it's like there's so many layers to this.
I
Um,
feel like they. Mhm.
no, go ahead.
No, I just feel like they could go into a different. I know a lot of people say because they say this feels like when facing Jay, and I think
Wait,
they want us
what?
to think that way. Remember when him and Jay, where he was like, because he did say, "Hey, if I win, you have to acknowledge me." It was the same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
saying to
yeah,
Jay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I think they're making us think that the story's gonna go the same. I think they're gonna do it different. I think something's different going to happen this time. You got to tell the story a little different than you did last time to make the people be back intrigued to give us that same
Well,
feeling we got with the
well, there's
first
a
story.
different element now because remember, as far as what we know, unless they are swerving us or unless they can, talk to Brock and give out blank checks to Brock.
Oh Lord.
Hmm.
Well, look,
Unless,
we
unless
cannot
unless
give
they
out no
can
more
do
blank
that,
checks.
unless they can do that, then Paul Heyman doesn't have the Brock to manage anymore. So what does that mean? That means what? That Brock, I mean not Brock, that Paul Heyman is probably going to be helping write the Bloodline stories again. And as we know, the Bloodline stories were really good when we had Roman and Paul Heyman helping write that story for the Bloodline.
hmm
So
Which, which
that's another
from what
piece.
I'm understanding, they saying that yeah, him and Michael Hayes are two of the people that
Hmm.
did. I think they was the ones over Punk and Roman's
Yes,
match, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
correct. He did. Yep,
So
yep. He helped produce it. Yep, he helped produce it. So he helped
yeah,
produce.
yeah,
Well, hold on now. Hold on. He helped produce the Punk Roman match. They also helped produce the Cody and
the
Randy
Brock
match.
Lesnar
So
match.
no,
Oh
the
really? Okay, I didn't
Cody.
know that.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh
yeah,
Jesus
yeah,
Christ,
yeah,
Jesus. Well,
yeah.
I
Uh,
I think they did what they could because what they had, they probably gave it to them. They like, man, we don't mess it up so bad. Here you go. You know, they probably
yeah.
like, man, look, this is the
Now,
best way to fix it. So,
well, it's not even that. I think it's more so because now, Heyman has that on his plate now because before he was really trying to work with Breaker and also had Brock Lesnar. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, and Brock Lesnar, he really had like two clients, and then he also kind of had Punk towards the very beginning of that before everything went the way it went in that story. So
mhm.
it now that he's down a client with Brock Lesnar, now he has that availability now to take on a different role. Now, what is separate to on-screen role, where it's him and Roman or him or someone in the bloodline, that I don't know. But as far as behind the scenes, on paper, yes, yes, you can do that now. Just a little bit more. He has a little open spot there.
Mm.
It was a weird direction for WWE before we got from Mania because we thought that Oba was gonna go right into the picture with Roman Reigns as like Roman is doing stuff with Jacob first. Now I'm not saying that Oba is going to come down the line because Oba did say by the end of the year he wants to face Roman Reigns. But we thought because he said that they were going to start wrestling now, and it looks like they're not. But he did make that thing saying, hey, the ruler is here, but I don't know who he's going to go against at this time. I believe he's going for like a Braun Breaker, um, um, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to SmackDown also as well
because there's still like them throwing people around. You got Jacob, who is a SmackDown star, now coming on Raw to just challenge for Roman's title, who is on Raw, and you have Cody coming out. He's champion and he's a SmackDown star. Teasing. It's gonna be him and Punk, and it's speculation that
Mm-hmm.
Punk is gonna go to SmackDown now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a weird dynamic. Idiots, man. You can't try. But it's a weird dynamic. So I wonder how Oprah's are playing into. But I think right now we're going into um, uh, Roman and Jacob. So I'm really interested, to see that. And again, they didn't disappoint. We always, we love the Bloodline story because of the layers that it had. And here we are, where they took layers and they're layering it again. They
Yeah.
like they took this shitty ass. I'm gonna say it, this shitty ass damn story where you have Drew just picking on Jacob because he was in jail years ago, and they kept dragging that on and dragging him on. Cat Jacob kept saying, "Oh, I'm the inside that bar." Well, I only did like 5 years, so it ain't like he feel like a life sentence. Okay, this and that. But they kept kind of picking at that, and then they also took that before the him and Drew thing about him being, uncontrollable and being too, kind of like too much to handle for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they took all that, put that bad storyline between him and Drew, and layering that into this storyline with Roman while saying, hey, yeah, it's my turn now to move past me being, a former criminal or past criminal. So, this is
Mm-hmm.
a good layer building, and I really, really like that. I think Jacob, deserves it, and I want to see where it goes. And now I'm looking at me like, you think Jacob could really be that star? Well, hey, remember, we've seen it with Solo Sequoia, where remember Solo had that match against him and John Cena. It did shit. It did absolutely nothing for him. It shit for him, and we just like, man, I could, we could not see Solo being that guy. Even I said on the
Yeah.
timeline years ago, I'm like, well, now Roman's gone. Hey, who's gonna be? Damn Solo. Like, oh, you all started laughing. Then what happened? He came out. He became the Bloodline 2.0 leader. He became his version of the Tribal Chief. And he said one of my favorite lines, like, the third Roman, you got me now. And he was doing a really good job doing it and made it
Yeah.
believable. Yeah. So, and now
Yeah.
here we are, 2026, where he's back down hard now. But, during that time, he was presented, pretty well. And I feel like Jacob's going to be the same story where we're like, can we see it? Yes, but can we believe it? That's what we got to be. And I think that they can do that when you put it with someone like Roman Reigns. I think it'd be, really good for him. And honestly, I know that uh, Drew is out because he's doing things in Hollywood, but I mean, thank God, man. Not, I like Drew, but thank God because if he wasn't, then he would be still kind of tied up in this weird storyline with him and Jacob. And I think by him having to leave for a while to go do that, it gave them that space to create something different for Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, the story that we got with him and Jacob was really kind of similar to him and Damian Priest, where it was about jail, but it was about him and Damian Priest having these extreme matches over and over and over again. And he finally moved on to that, from that till, hey, well, I'm gonna fight you, and we're the jailbird and extreme match. So I'm kind of happy that we moved on from that. I honestly think that if he wasn't busy, we would still be there. So That's great as well. Now, as far as what Drew, what he does, he comes back. That I don't know because we don't know what the playing field is going to be when he comes back. I feel like you could probably put him in a Oba match too. Now, I think that'll be a good match.
Mm.
Yeah, because yeah,
Mm.
I mean, yeah, because Drew does have that main star power. He's a big guy. He was chosen one back in the day from Vince McMahon. So I feel like it's there just kind of he can kind of dance around, and turn back to WWE. Unfortunately for him. Um, and then the other thing I want to talk about too is the whole idea of the Raw after WrestleMania, right? A lot of people say it was really good, and I think our standards now are so low now that this was good. Like I said, I really like the closing angle with the Jacob and Roman thing. I really like the Soruka and Liv Morgan thing. I was kind of interested in the Cody and Punk. I did not expect Cody to come out there. Um, but yeah, I mean, we didn't really get any big surprises at all. Besides, of course, we got Soruka, we got Zarya, we got Paige in the fucking crowd for some reason with the belts. But my God, they're fucking champions. Um, but we didn't get any big returns or anything like that. Probably because everybody who is returned is already there. I mean, Von Breaker returned back at WrestleMania, so he was there.
Well,
Bianca
Street
ain't
Profits.
returned
You
on
got Street
time.
Profits return.
Well, that ain't a big return, man. That. Okay. Anyway,
Well, you ain't gonna get them big returns no more. Who
yeah,
you
yeah.
expecting?
I don't know because everybody has returned back now. Von
Exactly.
Breaker's back. Maybe
Yeah,
Bronson
there's nobody you
Reed.
can bring.
Bronson Reed, maybe.
Uh,
Uh,
eh,
uh, uh.
no. Ain't.
We didn't get.
Well, I'm looking.
We didn't.
Well, I was looking at it as when we ended the night, who could show up, and it's like nobody. You can't set nobody up to show up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and I can tell y'all, you gotta set up. I know everybody wants Rock to come, but the store's not set up for him yet. And I know how the Rock is. The Rock is the type of person he wants to make sure the store is set up for it to be the bill. Now, I mean, yes, him and John was the only two that could ever do something, and it was a whole year after that. They had to do the promos in between there to get the bill still going. So people kind of
Well,
forget that. Y'all
well,
forgetting
so I'm gonna
the
stop.
whole
I'm gonna
bills
stop
in
you right
between
there.
there now.
Just because I'm a Rock fan, you know that's that's true, but it's also not true. It's not true because remember the stuff that he did for Chamber. We found out that was on the fly when he came for Bad Blood. That was what again on the
Oh yeah,
fly.
yeah, 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 yeah,
When
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
hold
yeah,
on,
yeah, yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
when when we switched it, well, sorry, when he switched it from it being him and Roman to Roman and Cody, that was something that he did based on fan reaction on the fly. So The Rock is pretty damn used to having things switched for him on the fly. It's just will he do it with his
But
schedule? What's his relationship with WWE and Triple H and TKO? You know, is the money there? Is his body there? Because as we know, he trained
mm,
for about 3-4 months for WrestleMania, where he
mm,
was had to go to states that had a ring in it for him to train and play out the whole match, move by move, line by line. So can we do that again? Which we can, because you don't have to put a time frame on when he can have a match, or if you have a match, he just be like a on-screen character into whatever he feels like he wants to, get physical, which we have seen, of course, the final boss character with him and Cena. So yeah, so that is not the case. It is not because the storyline is not there. The case is I think it's a lot of variables in there, um, and so that's
well,
unfortunately where we are
well,
now.
yeah, it's that too. But I'm looking at it. Well, this is family, so you know how Rock is about his family. So I was looking at it as that aspect too. So that's kind of how I was looking at it.
Yeah, But at the end of the day, like Rock has, yeah, he made that return back when Roman won the Rumble, and he was like he wasn't really
We
sure
still
what
don't know
was
why.
going on.
We still ain't got an example of that. Why? What
Well,
was that about?
well, it was the put over his fucking cousin. That's put over Roman because when Roman won the Rumble, it was next 15, next Raw. That's all it was.
Uh,
But
Roman
it
said,
was
"Why is
him.
they booed?"
Yeah. But now, but now the dynamic a little bit different because he's launching the product here and there because he was there a couple years ago. He watched last year's WrestleMania. He expressed it on Pat McAfee show. Um, so he knows the dynamic now, and I think he's at a place where he knows that Roman Reigns, he's not that same guy from 2017 where he's still trying to get over. Roman is super over the the most over the company besides Cody Rhodes and Danhausen. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but he's super over, so he doesn't really have to step in anymore. The Usos are already over. They're the most over tag team. They're the most over tag team for me since the New Day when they knew they had Big E. I mean, they're a very over tag
Mm-hmm.
team. As far as for Jacob, I believe Jacob is also over. I think Jacob is more over on a mid card level just because of where he's been put on the card. He's also super over. The only one that's not really over, honestly, is really the Tongas and Mateo. Solo also, he had a chance, to really be over. He was over, right after Mania. Mania, the good Mania. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so with 39. So with that being said, it's a little bit different from. He doesn't have to be that Superman or Shining Knight anymore because his family is in a good position now. Even Nia Jax, is, his closest cousin on the trees, is Nia Jax more so than Roman. And same thing with Nia Jax. Nia Jax is company for over 10 years. Yeah, she was released and came back. She also was put in a bigger position where she was champion for a while, and then she just lost tag team championship. So she's also been put
Mm-hmm.
over as up as a as a strong character. So it's not a lot of work for him to do, if anything, for him to do anymore, unless he said, hey, I really want to help Jacob be what Roman is, or hey, I really want to help the other Samoans be what they can be. I think I can do that with me being involved, which he already done did that because he was part of the bloodline, that had multiple members in there. So I mean, what else left for him to do besides just to advance that story? So we're in a different time period now. It's not just Roman being there and he's a new guy trying to get over. He doesn't, we don't need that anymore. So at this point, I don't think it's something to do with family. Now, of course, I believe, someone made a phone call and said, hey, I really need you to be here. I need you to do this for me. I don't think, I think he would consider that, but I think now it's more about is he available? Can he do it? And does he want to do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's pretty much what we also remember, man, hey, Rock is older than all these people, man. Rock is older than Cena. Rock is older than CM Punk. Rock is older than Brock. So he's also up in age now. So can he do it? And not even talk about physical. Also, even doing the live on the whim. Remember when he's doing roles for movies? Hey, you messed up. Take one. Take two. You can kind of you can fix that. But when you're out there live and you don't have the brain capacity because you're forgetting everything because when this going to mind you're up in age, it gets a little tough. That's why we got
Mm-hmm.
the famous thing when we got Cena saying that Brock writing promos on his arm. So
Mm-hmm.
so there's other variables to that. I believe we'll see The Rock. I don't know if anytime soon, but I would expect that to be closer to next year WrestleMania, because we all know that there was talks about him having the biggest wrestling deal financially wise in history is what the press was offering to pay. The King was offering to pay. Some of the King, sorry, not King Lawler, not him. That's the King, and not Bird King. I like Bird King. Not that either. But 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 yeah. So I'm hoping for it. I was absolutely stupid on Monday. I text everybody who I think knows the Rock to try to get him there, and he ain't there yet. Yep, I sure did. I tagged KO, Triple H, I tagged Emmanuel, I tagged Pat Feet because
If he shows up, it undermines Jacob then, so it wouldn't be no point right now. It's just, I mean, this is me being
um
honest. It's not
again
time yet.
layers, layers,
Because if you
layers.
if the Rock shows up right now, let's just say
And
he
here
showed
we
up
go
Monday.
again with someone, with someone
Would
with
you
no.
care?
Well, here's the because here's the thing, layers. Because remember something, we got Rock and who? Rock and Cena, right? The heel turn.
They already
Hold
had.
on,
They had.
hold on,
No,
hold
none of
on.
them was
Did he
champions yet.
overshadow Cena because he did that?
No,
No.
because
Everyone
it was
talks about
Cena.
Cena's
It's
heel turn.
John Cena.
Oh, Jesus
It's
Christ.
John the goat. I mean, come on.
Well, yes and
Okay,
no.
my
Hold on, yes and no, because Cena hasn't won a match in 5 years. He's
I
only been.
understand that, but it was still John Cena though. We're talking about, okay. I'm finna make a point. If it
Hmm.
let's say he showed up, would you care about Jacob and Roman if Roman showed? I mean, if Rock showed up?
Well, they will
Be
play.
honest.
Well, the idea if they want to do that, they will still have different stories. I mean, that'll be
Let's
part,
let's just say
of the
let
whole
let
thing.
let's say he showed up Monday, right then and there,
And
and
man, you
teased a
can't,
match.
man,
Would you
you
care about
can't, you
Roman and
can't.
Rock?
You have to know them players because look at John. Okay, you said John Cena's the GOAT. Okay, he is. John Cena's the GOAT, the last real champion, unseen 17. The last
I
real
understand that.
champion, the
My
greatest of all
question,
time. However,
no, 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 no,
However,
no,
he
no.
had a match
Answer the
with who?
question.
With Solo, and it did nothing. He had a match with Tyson Theory, and it did what?
I understand that.
Um,
So you're
sorry,
answering my
Austin
question
Theory,
because
and it did what? It did nothing. He had a match
I understand
teaming up
that.
with Logan Paul, and it did what? It did nothing.
I understand that. But this is Roman Reigns. Like I said once again, my question was if he showed up and just said, "Hey, I want to have a," he didn't say when. We'll all assume that it's WrestleMania, but let's just say he wanted to do a match with Roman. Why
No,
him and
but
Jacob was
okay.
out there? Would you care
Who the
about
hell
any?
said?
Would you care about
Who
him and
the
Jacob?
hell said? Okay, here's my question. When did I say that if he's part of this story, that he's going to challenge Roman Reigns? The whole point is that he'll come out there to be with Jacob.
Okay, so
You'll
like I
get to
said,
that
that that that
towards the
that
end.
that bring yeah that brings a difference because I'm not saying he joined nobody because I mean if he joined them then yeah we'll be more interested. Let's just say they went straight to him saying I want to have a one-on-one match. Would you care about anybody else that faces Roman outside of Raw? You'll want to get some Raw
Well,
Roman. Am I correct?
correct, but they're not going to do that.
Exactly.
They're, they're,
That's what I'm saying. It's
they'll
not
put
time
that
for
at
him
the
to
end
come.
because they cancel out everything. We weren't
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
that.
exactly. That was saying
So that's
that was
why I was
saying him
going with
coming
some
out there,
you.
and I wouldn't even trust the part if he joined Jacob part.
Well,
I know the
well,
schedule. I'd be like, well, he can't be
here's the
here.
thing. Well, here's the thing though is that you were positioned it with him being with Jacob because the last time we saw Rock with Cena, but the last time we saw Rock with Roman was at the Netflix debut, and he gave him a spot to give him a follow. So it wasn't like it was a hit of a turn there. So he would come back, still being on Roman's side. You have to build up to him and Roman feud all over again. He acknowledged Roman during those times. He gave him the Ulafala at the end. So there is no bad blood. There is no tension there. You would have to
Yeah, yeah,
rebuild that, and you'll rebuild that with the whole head of the table, high chief. You could throw in the whole about the spirit that Roman gave them, at WrestleMania. You can you tie all that in together. But right now, they're on good terms. That's
mm-hmm.
not the story. So for someone, so to have Rock come
Yeah,
out there, it's not
yeah.
believable for the fans to believe it's gonna be Rock and Roman because there is no feud right now.
Well, well, hell, we seen Rock turn goddamn Dakota shit goddamn into a storyline that was off screen and still made it work. So this is the Rock
Hmm.
we're talking about now.
Yeah,
Cause hell,
yeah, you can
look,
make it
he's
work,
the one
but
that
but hey,
remember
that's where we are
yeah, he
now.
made it work. Cause y'all
So
remember y'all was mad as hell at him for not being
the reason
backstage
why,
drinking
well, the
whiskey.
reason why, the reason why I'm saying that is because it gives us that window where you can have him be with someone like Jacob, and you can eventually have it turn into
Hmm.
that. You don't have to go straight into that, and the fans would not expect that with Rock just showing up because, as we
Hmm.
know, they were good. Now, of course, they always swerve and say, "Hey, I'm here to take you on," but right now, the last time we saw Rock and Roman together, Rock gave him the Ula follow, acknowledged him as
Follow,
the
yeah,
champion. So I mean,
yeah, yeah.
that's where we were left in the story. So I mean, there's that. Now, of course, you got Will Rock say, "Hey, you called Usos? Why the hell you didn't call me? You called the Usos? Did you call me? The Usos over me,
Mm,
the High
did
Chief."
he
So
call
you
the
can see. So you
Usos?
well, he did because he came out yesterday. He said what? He said, "I need you to stand beside me. I missed this." So
Well, I mean,
technically, yeah.
they was always with him, so that would make sense.
Well,
Yeah.
no, you saying you calling? Well, no, they weren't because when Roman was doing his thing, Roman was doing his thing. You had Jay doing his thing, and you kind of had Jay
Oh, you talking
just
about
kind of
when
fall
the
behind.
split? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The last time we seen them around like that, they weren't doing things together. The only time we really seen them together was was the last time was of course um when the whole the whole mid slash start of CM Punk and CM Punk and him. As we've seen
Hmm.
those get back involved again, and before then, we saw Roman eliminate Uso at Rumble. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's that piece, and then before then,
Yeah.
yeah. So so that's
Yeah.
where we are.
Go
So
ahead.
I mean, yeah. So I'm excited to see where it goes with Jacob. We're gonna have an answer next week, we hope, because Roman said,
Well,
see it next
well,
week. So
I think he gonna set his challenger because the whole story is Jacob can't be contained. So I just think that, and I think they should use that as we go along. Even if he does beat him, he still doesn't acknowledge him. He just shows that he can't. He won't. Which they did do that with Jay, but they need to do it a little different. You know.
hey, 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 we didn't get Roman and Rock here, and Rock is acknowledging him. Okay, did that
I mean, yeah, but I
after
mean,
Rock.
I don't think it'll be part of this. They just doing the match just to do the match.
Hey,
I
hey,
think it's
hey,
because of
I need
high
something
chief and
from.
trap chief.
I need
I
something
wish she
from
had. Hey,
you.
hey, hey, he said I'll do anything for my family, man. And The Rock
Mhm.
said, hey, I just need something from you. Roman said I need something from you. I need you to acknowledge me. And The Rock said it, man. Hey, I couldn't believe my eyes. I was there in Dallas when it happened. I said, oh shit, what the fuck we doing? And I said, boom, knock it back.
Oh, that can bad boom.
But man,
I'm
yeah, I
excited.
can't wait to see what's gonna happen Monday. Yeah, me too. I'm glad. I love the reset. We're not back at what we should be at, but I do like the freshness there. So I do got to give them credit with that. But they did do Night one was bad. Like I said, it wasn't the best. Um, Night two was a little better, and I feel like Raw was a decent Raw. It was
Well,
decent. Um,
wait a minute. Did you
let
you talk about well two things I want to ask you. Did you talk about the
mhm.
Pat McAfee status and comments? Did you talk
Oh hell
about
no, because I don't care about no
oh
damn Pat McAfee.
well, I'm gonna
Pat
go ahead.
McAfee, you on for good.
Well,
Goodbye.
Pat McAfee. Well, apparently there was first some rumors around saying that they wanted to do something with Pat McAfee for for SummerSlam, and then it was reported now that they plan to do a tag team match with Jelly Roll and Cody Rhodes and Pat McAfee and Randy Orton. That's why Jelly Roll was out there giving out the elbow drop on the announcer table at WrestleMania because the whole plan was that's supposed to go somewhere, lead into a tag team match for Backlash. But we found out a couple of days ago that Jelly Roll saying, "Hey, I'm done. I needed to go ahead and do my time there. It's done." Well, okay. Now we hearing that Pat McAfee is saying that they were going to do something as for a tag team during Backlash, and he doesn't want to do it anymore because he's like the backlash, no pun intended, that he got from the fans from returning and that he just done because he didn't like the reception he got back from the fans. At the same time, it's like, hey, when we last saw you, Pat, you're more baby face. You faced against Gunther. You came back as this over cocky heel. You're supposed to be booed and hated, and that's what we gave you. Now, granted, it was legit go away heat, but but hey, you came into a story which I don't know, how much you watch the story, how much you know about the story, but hey, you came into a story where you knew it was gonna be a WrestleMania main event. WrestleMania main event. Two, you should have known that they were building up this story for weeks, and to know it was going to be a reveal, of course, that. Then also remember that this is supposed to be Randy going for number 15. So to enter yourself into that story, regardless of who it was, unless it was someone that we expected to be a legend or someone that we wanted that had some kind of tie to Randy Orton, they were not going to have a great reception because of the stakes of the match.
Mhm.
So, I mean, that was to be expected. So there's that. But yeah, because of that, he said he's done, so I don't think nobody really cares, but yeah, he's done because of that.
I
Um,
mean, like you said, somebody should have told him something. From what we understand, the president of TKO handpicked him to be in this
yeah,
predicament, which was not
yeah,
smart.
he
It was
saw
not a
him as
smart
being,
idea because we had a whole episode about it. Like Pat McAfee, out of all the
yeah,
people, Pat McAfee, you had
yeah.
a perfectly
Well,
good
it's also
got done.
it's also because well, you gotta think about it this way too. TKO clearly mess mm, misread the room. Okay, and the last time we saw Pat McAfee, he was cheered because he was babyface taking on Gunther, who is a heel. He had a really good freaking promo that did not be a wrestler. So of course he was cheered. And then and remember that big interview that he had was with The Rock, and everyone went crazy over it because it was Rock kind of really expressing his frustrations with the company. And now the Pat McAfee show. Last time we seen him,
Mhm,
in a
mhm,
wrestling capacity, for, about wrestling. Everything else is that about movie stuff and personal stuff. So
mhm,
so he did, Taylor look at it and say, hey, this guy is a main star. Everyone remembers the him and Rock interview. Everybody loved him when he came out and faced Gunther. It's gonna be great ESPN guy. And no, you misread the room. Now I think people that came in as a heel, even as a baby face, yeah, and was not involved in a story that was built to be this way, it would have been a different story. But yeah, he was just put in a really bad predicament. I mean, and that's what it was. Now, I don't think Pat McAfee is
Yeah.
ever going to tell you no additional tickets, you know, but I think that's all that's what it was. I guess you know, TKO saw a little shining star and said, "Hey, they like this guy. Let's go ahead and grab him." And that's what it was. Um, they really misread the room. Did you
Hmm.
talk about John Cena and Backlash?
No, I don't think I did. I think I hit on it, but I don't think I did
Yeah.
mess on it.
So
I think say I really want to know what they gonna do with him. Like, is he gonna
don't
appear,
don't
host,
know. But
what? Like
one thing
that's
I kept
really interesting.
saying. One thing I kept saying is this was during our watch party. It was actually the first watch party that DW has had where it's me and Miami were live together on camera. We hadn't been on camera since January, and it was the first time I said
Really?
watch party. Yeah, it was the first time I actually did a watch party physically together in a studio. Have Miami's back blocking most of the TV screen, but um,
Leave
but yeah,
Princess
but
alone. What Princess got? What Princess got to taste
for
space around
Princess,
here?
and you block her TV. But yeah, and like I said, um, you know, during that was I kept noticing that John Cena, and hey, shout out to the over 800 people we had across both pages for joining us during WrestleMania. Um, but I kept saying like, hey, John Cena's tearing up. He's tearing up. He teared up for night one, teared up again for night two. Night one, he really looked like he wanted to run down that ramp. We're like, oh man, I'm in a suit. I was tired. I'm wearing these extra shoes. Um, but it seems like you really missed it. I'm like, if you haven't second thoughts about being fully retired, not being partially retired, which means that hey, I retired, but you might see a festival here and there. Which really what the Rock has been for years, really decades now. If you open to doing that, and then see the picture of him and Dan Housen. Because he had the segment with Dan Housen, which I like. John Cena seemed to be generally tickled about it. Um, and now he's on social media saying that he got a big surprise for us in Tampa. So, I mean, I'm hoping he does something. Maybe he's going to host it. I don't know. Maybe he'll have a nice longer skit with Dan Housen. Maybe have an alternate character. I don't know. But yeah,
It's weird. It came out. I'm like,
well,
I'm
remember
shocked.
what John Cena said? John Cena said that he wanted to be part of this family, WWE family, as long as he could, but he didn't want to be in a ring capacity. So that does not mean that John Cena is not open to being a manager. It does not mean John Cena is not open to do more skits and appearances. Backstage, he never said that. He clearly said he was done with any ring competition, but he wants to be a part of his family as long as he could, WWE family. So with that being said, you can do other things. You don't have to always be a competitor. I mean, we've seen that. So I don't know. Maybe John Cena could be a mentor for someone. Maybe he can continue to be host. There's different things that John Cena can do. Maybe he can be on the announcer team. And Big E is doing that now. I
That would
mean,
be
Corey
interesting.
Graves been doing that for years. So,
You know what?
hey, JBL was doing it for a
I would
while.
like that.
Wade Barrett is doing it. So, it's different things that
Well,
they
I
announce
would
for
like
someone
it
to
if he
do.
just did if he did like a announcing thing, because I know right after Backlash they gonna do main event, and if he just does announcing what he said he's gonna do it for Backlash and main event, because you know how main event they probably want to sell tickets for that. I would
Yeah.
like it, but I just I don't know where. What's the
Well, you know,
surprise gonna be for him?
Backlash is well,
We know he
Backlash.
ain't coming out retirement.
Well, Backlash is one of his favorite like PLEs. Like Backlash, Fastlane, like it's good. And I think also, I remember him being Armageddon was also pretty good too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, Armageddon. Mm.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Great American Bash. But eh, yeah, I'm excited to see what he's gonna do in Tampa.
You got any theories that you got that you think you will go when he
I
do?
feel
You got any
and
theories?
I feel like he may do either announce it or maybe something ultimate again.
Really?
When you know, hey, is it what we want? No, but hey, for those who get to see Dark Cena, it's will at least go ahead and see him again. You know, so you know the
Well,
celebrity
he
thing.
did hit something about the because you know they got the WWE club thing, and I thought if I'm not mistaken, because I know that's supposed to be like the WWE experience, so I wondering does it have something to do with that? You
Well,
know, maybe it's like an experience
well,
with John Cena,
well, the
maybe.
club is supposed to be you pay for it and you get discounts on certain things. So unless maybe he's gonna do like a meet and greet for Tampa or something.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, we
Okay.
don't, and you know what? I think a lot
Yeah.
of people will want to go see that because you don't know when the next time you'll get to see Cena.
I
You
mean,
know,
well,
we
maybe I
found
need to
out
go
last minute he
down.
was at.
Hey, maybe I can go down to Florida and go ahead and go down to that Bay Area and see if I can go
Oh
ahead and
Lord.
hey, the Bay Area and see John Cena. It is on the East Coast. I don't have to
Yeah.
fly. It'll take me a while to get there though, but I think I can take an
Yeah, yeah,
Amtrak or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've
about
had
four,
been to
what,
Florida,
4 hours maybe.
a little bit
About
more than
four
that.
hours.
I have
Man,
been to
so it's
Florida.
okay.
Oh shit, it was I was at late hours that day. But I mean, well, I'm closer to that than I was in the original state. So yeah, it might be about 4 to 6 hours. I would assume. On train, longer car traffic, all that stuff. But yeah, hey, hopefully they announce it in time. But remember, Backlash is pretty close. Like they
Yeah, yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah.
April.
Yeah.
Backlash is on the 9th, so we don't have a
Yeah.
long time frame in between that. So they gotta announce that soon.
Yeah, like I said, I think this was setting it up because he came out and like I say, I seen it on my timeline 'cause it came out of nowhere and it was spreading. It was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Cena has a surprise for
But then
Backlash." I'm like,
again,
Backlash.
but then again, remember, we found out like a week or two before WrestleMania that he was gonna host, and reports
Hmm.
came out that was planned since around Chamber Time apparently he was gonna
Yeah,
host.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
there's yeah.
maybe he said something to him at Mania that, like you said, he wanted something else he wanted to do because, like you said, he did get a little teary
Gear it
eyed
up.
and it seemed like he missed it.
Yeah, gear it
Hell,
up.
it was time me and you were joking like he wanted to run down the ring,
Well,
a
night
couple
one he
times, but
did. Night
he was
one,
like, shoot.
night one he started to do that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
saw
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
saw
yeah,
him.
yeah,
They
yeah.
realized they're
So
not doing. I made trips. I ended up wearing these hair church shoes, which hey, at least Cena wore, or at least Cena wore his best shoes. He did not wear Nike silhouettes. So hey,
oh
anyway,
Lord.
hey, now we don't go silhouette, man. The same black and white don't mean you should wear them silhouette, man.
Oh my God.
Hey, um, hey, but sometimes you gotta wear what you got. Hey, there are a lot of celebrities
Man,
who,
man, them
who
things at Walmart ain't dress shoes like $20, $30, man. Come on, man.
I'm about 47 right now.
Okay, 47 ain't too bad
And
of a
you,
price, man. I think
and
47
hey,
a decent
you can
price.
always do what I like to call, the final boss is unlimited warranty, where you shoot, and, maybe
Oh
with,
man.
yeah, it's a but yeah, I guess you realize that you was wearing dress shoes to make stop. It's a slip hat to wearing those type of shoes with that type of, floor. It can be real bad but embarrassing. And you'll be doing the world good slide, typing on
Oh
heels.
Lord. y'all leave Titus O'Neil alone, man. At least
Man, the
he, at
world
least he
is
made that out
wide.
of something, man.
He did. He
He
did.
he
But I
clever
also
for making
was
it
a
out of something.
fan. I also was a fan of Titus for Hawaii. Yeah, I was a big fan of that, man.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
my
that was the
thing.
first little thing. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't wait to see what Cindy's gonna announce. Hopefully they announce it quick. Hopefully it's something for Backlash, Fun Balls. Hopefully it is. I mean, I was surprised about
Hopefully
the
it
news
ain't
when it
something
came out.
disappointing.
Yeah, that
Because Becky said that she had been announced that it was something to do with Nick Coffee or something. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, but really though,
but
I let the video follow on. We gotta get out of here because you got it's like mine in about 15 minutes. So
no, I mean, like I say, great start for Raw. Can't wait to see. I'm hearing that they're gonna do a reset for SmackDown, so can't wait to see that. And let's see what's gonna happen on Raw. Hope you guys join us next week. I guess we'll go back to our original time, depending on how good SmackDown will
me and
be.
our original day
Um,
say,
to let y'all know. But other than that, hey, shouts out to everyone who came by. This is DWE Radio. The topic,
the radio
the
is not
topic.
on the radio. Not the topic is not on the radio. We always get all topics on the goddamn radio now.
Oh Lord, Top of the Mountain, episode 16. Final boss. We're on episode
Yep.
16. You can catch us one. You can catch 1 through 16 on Spotify. The rest we got a
Hey,
few
we're
episodes
only
up top.
one away from being 17. Y'all see
Yep.
17?
We're next week will be 17.
Yeah.
Almost close to
Yeah.
episode 1. We're almost done with season 1. So shouts out to us, and next month it'll be our 1 year anniversary of doing podcasting, Final Boss. So shouts out, congratulations to me and you. Yay! Look at that.
Yeah.
We're doing
Yay.
something right.
Yeah.
Shouts out to
Yeah.
everyone. Thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us again next week. Thank you, Final Boss, for joining me. Hope you enjoyed Raw. I'm pretty sure you don't like SmackDown, but I'll be watching SmackDown to see what some changes are going to come. And hey, we don't know. We'll probably talk about it next week. Other than that, guys, thank you guys for joining us. This DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. Follow me
Radio.
on X, Miami the Great 305. Follow Final Boss, Final Boss Baby, 2B's, 1Y, CFO on X.
Radio.
That's that's all one word. Follow the Talk It
Radio.
Up podcast page. I
Radio.
was
Radio
gonna do a
stuff.
live, but the draft is on, so we had to do DW Radio. So join me tomorrow for the
Radio.
draft. I will probably do a
Radio.
3 hour show for the NFL. I will be watching
Radio.
the draft to give y'all guys the update.
Radio.
Join CJ later on here tonight. After Slam will be on early tomorrow. I will be on in the afternoon, and CJ will be on later
Radio.
tomorrow. Other than that, thank you guys. We are out. Follow
Radio.
us on Twitch. Follow us on YouTube. That's Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. On Twitch, DWE Radio. We are
Radio.
out. Do I got an outro on here? I don't think I got an outro on here, Final Balls. See, this your fault. You
I
supposed to
don't know
be
why.
for trolling.
I don't
You
do
supposed to
any
be
of the mechanics.
you want to do you want to be a mechanic.
I don't do any of the mechanics. Open your ears.
Oh Lord, open your ears and not your eyes. Okay, bye. We out of here.
Yeah.
Peace, love, and
We're all
harmony. And
wide
always remember,
open
there's only
under
one
the sunlight.
DWE,
Welcome
baby.
to
We on
It's
to one
May. I
year
tell
and
you
counting. We get.
everything.
Oh
We're
Lord.
all wide open.
Hmm.
Wide
There's only
open.
one DWE, baby.
That's a
Hey, good
song.
night. Good night, DWE fans. See y'all next
Uh-oh.
week.
Oh.
Gotta go, gotta go. DWE Radio. Catch y'all next Saturday, baby.